Not very smart. I forgot to go live. Okay, so how do I So you might notice something, people who are watching, that's a little bit weird. That being that I kind of wave my hand. We have a background because I drew it myself. I might as well get some mileage out of this, you know. I spent like an hour on it. Who cares? Ugh. So you might also notice something else that's a bit more important. The bottom half of the screen is gone. There's a reason for that. This is explicit. I don't think it's pornography explicit, but it's explicit enough that I'm worried about it. So I'll keep this as an emergency function just in case things get a little bit hairy for me. So we can just tiptoe around the landmines, and I'll provide you with my closest approximations that are within YouTube's guidelines. You can read along if you want to. I can't stop you. You're an adult. Make your own decisions in life. Man, it's so nice to have some production value. Now people can properly tell me to go fuck myself because I suck. Nice! Man, I really would have preferred to be doing anything right now. There's a big thing going on in my life, and I just need some time for myself, and I'm not going to get it next week. I might cancel the stream next week as a result of that, but for now, let's focus on what matters, which is the fact that Scary Dave isn't here. And as we all know, if Scary Dave isn't here, what are we even doing it for? He's half the crowd that I pull. He's half the people I care about. I'm going to put it like this so I know at all times what's visible and what isn't. You might not... like how my mouse creeps out. Ooh. I learned some other fun stuff. Messing around with the filters has taught me. There are some cool filters here. Oh, I can... Wait, what? Bicubic. Bilinear. Resolution. Oh! I can just screw around a little bit, huh? I would like some bilinear filtering. I don't need this. But the function that I found that has cracked me up is there's a function that just lets you make this all the more painful to read. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, I see. Oh, that's just goofy. That's just goofy. But I found out about that function, and that seems like a hoot and a half. All right. So shall we just get going? Even if no one's here and I'm all alone and I'm scared. I'm scared. It's dark. I'm not rich enough to have lights on. Oh shit! I really should turn off my bookmarks bar. Hold on. I honestly do not care about the circumstances, but you are not seeing my bookmarks. People are gonna think, oh man, Safi, you go to YouTube? Oh, this will be so embarrassing. All right, so enjoy the. Wait, why is this? This is cut really aggressively, Safi. What the fuck's going on? Top is like 300 pixels. Can we lower that down to 200? Can we lower that down to 100? No, no, you can see my bar. Oh no! No! That's too much information. Here you go. Actually, I think I'm gonna... Actually, I'm more okay with 160. There you go. So, I'm gonna start the recording in a bit, so... Everyone has like 1 more minute. You have 1 more minute to show up. Make the most of it. I'm already very upset. What is this? Okay, let's I really wish I could make this any quieter, but it's at 1. This is all I can do, unless I start tampering with other functions, I guess. Actually, let's pull open the volume mixer and get a little wily. Wait. Oh. I've been told this is alright, though, so... things learned. All right, let's just get to it. Let's stop dilly-dallying. We've dilly-dallied enough. Enough dallies have been dillied. Okay, so for those that don't know, nothing to something. Anon dies and he gets a Snoot. But let's get to it. Let's put our back into it. After thinking that he may as well have been dead, Anon is brought back to the very definition of square one, and this time he's got a Snoot of his own. If you're going to use uppercase, please include the trademark to be respectful to the owners. Okay? Trademark. The funeral was held around midday. I stood there, hiding behind a tree as rain sprinkled from the dark clouds above, watching as everyone left the funeral that I wasn't invited to. All except Mr. This is not the song for this, Safi. What the fuck are you doing? Who's paying you, Safi? Who's paying you, Safi? No, go to downbeat. You need downbeats. Safi, for fuck's sake. The whole dramatic tension of the scene is ruined. There aren't a lot of, like... Why is this a mellow downbeat? None of these work. Let's put all of Amberlight Brilliance in the I can't use this folder. Summertime Synth. None of these are so... I think we're just not gonna have any songs right now, because I do feel that they made the right choice not having any music. They didn't even have the stinger they were gonna add for Nasser, so hey. All except Mr. Ripley. His name would be Mr. Aaron. You don't use first names after titulature like that. Who stayed far longer to simply glare at the graves of his son and daughter. He deserves this the least out of everyone. So, did this guy know that... Okay, listen. In a lot of text editors, when you blank space, especially if you're like in proper document editors, they will let paragraphs have the little post and pre spacers. In a .txt, like Notepad++, those are generally not added, but Archive of Our Own automatically spaces your like this. It automatically spaces your paragraphs. So keep that in mind. Once everyone was gone, I approached. The alternations of my footsteps more mechanical than human. But the same would have been true without the crutches, as I looked at the writings on the tombstones. Nasser's first, polluted with various flowers. In memory of Nasser, loving son and brother. Sorry, man. I robotically hobbled to the next tombstone, one that I spent much longer to blankly stare. Here lies dearest Lucy. Heaven restores you in light. What's more fucked up than staring at your girlfriend's grave is knowing that you were the one to cause it. None of this would have happened if I'd noticed something was wrong. If I just supported Fang more instead of getting into a fight. If I never got between her and her friends by telling her how I felt. If I never bothered Fang and stayed to my... you don't stay to yourself, you keep to yourself. If I never moved to Volcaldera in the first place. Oh, because of me, Naomi, and Nasser, and all the others are gone. Well, here's the thing, right? I pointed out before. Brilliant move not having... It's nice that Reed and Spear show up at the funeral, but man, eliminating the cast in that, I don't know. In hindsight, it's a spicy sequence. But the further on we go, the more it does feel like ending thing. You know, it's a bit gratuitous. To make a point that it's not really making all that much. You know what they say, Luigi. Don't overdo the spice. On the lasagna. Mario wouldn't even like lasagna. It's too much sauce for me. I like the pasta. Next thing you're gonna tell me you don't... What is it called again? Bechamel. Bechamel sauce. Hold on, I have to look up the sauce. Bechamel sauce.
Bechamel.
Bechamel. It's one of the mother sauces of French cuisine. Why did my mother add this to lasagna? That doesn't sound like Italian food. I'm gonna waggle my finger. Oh, it is used in dishes as Italian lasagna al forno. Well, I guess I'm the fusilli man now. In the middle of a funeral is the best time to learn about lasagna. God damn it. Can you imagine Safi sitting over there like the corridor of the funeral? Like I didn't even notice everyone left and I'm like, Anon, hey, buddy. See ya. Jesus. I already did my dramatics for the original ending when recording, so give me some space. It's about to get really silly anyway. I should be crying. Should be screaming to the world why I should have died instead. Instead, I just feel... But I instead just feel my final plea for defying races through my mind. Don't leave me alone. I just feel alone. That's completely and utterly and hopelessly alone. The rain stops, black clouds revealing the murky grey sky. Already it seemed as if the world had already been done with me and my monologuing. A monologue from some nobody in the middle of nowhere, with the only person I cared about now gone. Trish was right. No, she is right. Trish wasn't right, she is right. Her rightness, if anything, is still very much solidified. I know that's how you say it in English, but it's technically not correct. And as we all know, that's the best kind of correct. The moment that I thought I was somebody, I ruined everything. And I'm back to being a nobody. But it was better this way. That's not what he says. That's not what he says at all. It's also, it wasn't better. It is better this way. Why is Anon talking in past tense if he's also in present tense? I'm just saying there's a little mixture of pronouns and timelines going on here, buddy. I'll put that in the archive as, like, continued problem. We'll talk about it some other time. Slowly, I turned around, making my way back to the graveyard, giving too much time to sit on my parting thoughts, and curiously wondering, would it actually be better if I was nothing instead? I'm getting out of bed. I'm pretending I was even alive. I'm having to try. I was deeper in my thoughts than I realized as my crutch met the side of a tombstone before I fell forward. Right over the edge of an open hole, clearly dug out to fit another person's grave as I met the bottom, roughly landing against the dirt. Sharp pain shot up my bandaged leg, but I didn't feel... How do you know you have pain if... Okay, listen. I understand the point, but you can't say... God damn it. You can't say, I saw, and then say, pain is exclusively felt. You cannot see pain. You can't smell it. It is felt. If you don't feel pain, it didn't happen. How would you know? He doesn't care that he has pain? Or he says, I should have felt pain in my leg. But you can't have it. You can't oxymoron like that. It's not even for a flourish. It's just weird. You know, I saw the girl, but I was blind at the time. I didn't feel anything anymore. The point here is that there's a sharp transition between Anon feeling something and not. Start off with a sharp pain, shoots up his leg. But before it got anywhere, it stopped. You know, something like that. I feel like you can make a transition from, like, the pain is this last moment of existence that resonates in his mind despite it having ended years ago. An eternity and nothing. I didn't feel anything anymore. Only my slowing breath stirring the dirt as I slowly closed my eyes. Just... let me die like this. And I stopped before starting. My eyes blinked open to the blinding light, wondering if the angry cemetery worker had finally found me, using an obnoxiously bright flashlight, showing up as a practical shadow in my vision. It wasn't until the figure shifted that I was able to adjust my vision, briefly shaken from my thoughts to realize this guy had an entire floodlight pointing down at me. Wait. I blinked again, dispersing the blurriness from my visions to realize that I wasn't surrounded by climbing walls of dirt, but the dull teal hospital curtains, the light coming from a powerful lamp above a Trudon. A Trudon? A little Trudon always felt like, you know, kind of like a joke name, if anything. I don't think anyone's ever referred to as a Trudon. Right? Maybe it's just me. Well, you know, like, finding out if the last name is spelled Aaron with 2 A's or 1 A is only mentioned in the bowling alley once. And considering that's an actual sequence, Anyway, Anon's in a wacky situation. Let's give him some music. It is looping, right? Why does it always stop the looping? Stop overriding my settings, you jerk. I must have blacked out when I was on that open grave, giving me an idea of how my new life is going to pan out when I didn't feel like offing myself. Just brief moments of clarity with everything else just blurred along. But I was ready for the questions, ready for the diagnoses, ready to be giving prescriptions of antidepressants to fill the space in place of the crushing nothingness with the fake joy. That's not how that works, Anon. Anon, I tell you this, but your doctor doesn't just prescribe you antidepressants. That's if you have chronic depression because your brain's fucked up, which it might be. But it's pretty obvious that Anon is kind of normal. He's just, in a bad spot. Like, your doctor is just going to talk to you. They're not going to assign... That's a psychiatrist also, by the way. But even then, like, therapy sessions are way better unless they got, like, a fuck ton of lobbies behind them. Anyway, let's... But I was ready for the questions, ready for the diagnoses. Ready to be given prescriptions of antidepressants to fill the place of the crushing nothing in my life. I was ready for his words and my new reality. It's a boy! I was not ready for that. What I meant to say... I think I meant to say, what the fuck are you talking about? Hold on, I'm definitely going to turn down this volume and I'm going to fuck around with the sound settings of it. Give me 1 minute. Uno momento, por favor. Por favor. And now, I crank this up. I think it should be good now. Like, it's about where it was a minute ago. Should be? When is the little, thing? I don't know. I'm already barfing. I mean, this time it was definitely my fault. Wait, what? Yoshified Bandicoot? What is this man talking about? Yosh? Oh, that one. Oh, I see. Hold on, I have to... Some logistics may have gotten fucked up. Actually, no, the logistics are fine. Okay, cool. That takes a little load off my back. I need to get back to my dramatic highs. There you go. I think I meant to say, what the fuck are you talking about? Before realizing that nothing came out of my mouth, instead feeling my jaw drop dumbly. Have they already gotten me hooked up on drugs? If so, I felt pretty conscious despite my circumstances. Trying to speak again only for my mouth to open and close. One moment, I need to test the... Instead feeling my jaw drop dumbly. Cool. Safi. Hold on, I need to Obama meme myself a medal. There you go, Safi. A medal for sheer excellence. Thank you, Safi. Amazing. Incredible. Such delivery. What the hell was... Oh, whoops. I was then conscious of the bed suddenly being moved. The sun lost control, causing my entire body to lock up as I was turned the other way. Facing two short compsonathesis. Compsonathesis. Jesus Christ! Woof! Can I get a pronunciation guide, please? No. I'm not gonna get one. I'm on my own. I'm on my own. I'm on my own.
Compsognathus.
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 Compsognathus and compsognosis. Compsognathus. 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 Anna is a compsognathus. He's a compy.
Compsognathuses.
Jesus Christ, Anon, could you be a slightly less complicated species? One, the husband I suspected... the husband, I suspect, was leaning and standing against a... How is he leaning in... against a hospital bed. Green eyes wide, with his behind round glasses and his snout open in joy. The other, the wife, was laying on top of a bed in a hospital gown, weakly smiling at me. Her legs low. Fucking raptor. Jesus, why am I showing me this shit? You know, Anon, there are some things that can only be cured by looking directly at a point of origin. God damn it. So, I have a serious issue with where this is coming from, and, like, you can just flash forward this shit. We do not need Anon describing birth, okay? Of all things in the universe that needed to happen, Anon describing what birth is like, it's just very low on that list as far as I'm concerned. Fucking Raptor, Jesus, why are they showing me this shit? What Why is there a rope attached to my stomach? Anna, you're covered in, like, uteral fluids. How the fuck are you this dense? Like, no one in the world would be around for, like, a few seconds and not go, like, oh. Like, this feels like it takes too long. This should be, like, a rapid series of, like, why is there a rope attached to... Why is there no light? Like, this takes too long for someone like Anon who's a bit snappy about things. He's not slow. Unless he really didn't pay attention in sex ed. I could see him not paying attention in sex ed because he's like, I already look up pornography. I know how this works. He doesn't even know which part of the condom goes out. What a nerd! I blinked again, looking down to realize I was not lying on a bed, but a gigantic surgical glove. Bloody digits gently clutching my body. Man, like... It is surprising how much modern medical science is focused around birth sucks and kills people a lot. Turns out the way we birth babies is kind of fucked up and not great at its job. My naked body. My naked green... Why would he assume that he's naked? Why wouldn't his first assumption be that he's dressed in some kind of suit? I don't know. Again, really feel that the extra spacing that, you know... Who the hell is Sour Man? Is he one of those Sour Patch Kids? Except grown up? He's the one that survived the bag. My naked, green-scaled newborn body. Again, I don't... If you're gonna do this, I think it's way better to have him just have a fucking slideshow of, like, baby born and all that fun stuff. I'm not comfortable with this. This is so weird. My tiny claws reach to touch my jaw, only to realize that I have to trail it further forward. Your jaw, Anon, still connects to your head in the same spot it did before. It's just that your mouth is further away. Like, your jaw is still there. That doesn't change with the muzzle. It just adds to your chin, you know? All I'm saying is that whoever this person is does not know that your jaw is not your chin. They are not the same. And I should know, I drew Olivia's chin. As you can see in the glorious background, I drew Anon's chin too. Man, the best part of being an artist is that you get to look at your own art and go, fuck, that shit sucks. Over and over and over again. I'm haunted by my own ghost. Although it's... the idea that the first thing that baby Anon does is like, I have a... What the hell? Wouldn't he see it? There's actually... Hold on. Please bear with me. Please bear with... Welcome to Safi Talks about what being a baby is like, current medical science believes that the way babies work is that when a baby cries, it's because they're fucked up. They are 24/7 high on the fact that their brain has no fucking clue what it's doing. Like, the reason you're a little dipshit baby is because your brain is like, what the hell are colors? What is light? What is seeing? And it gets so fucked up that the baby is like, like, Anon wouldn't see anything. He wouldn't feel anything. He would just have nerve endings, and they would be screaming at him. And this is where problems start to emerge. You cannot have Anon not... How would you resolve this, right? If babies are fucked up and drugged up on the fact that they are incapable of processing their own sensory information, then Anon would be confused and terrified, and in like a year's time, he'd be insane. Because he would spend a year in a body that is just screaming at him 24/7. Again, this is why you don't remember being a fucking baby. Because there is no information to remember. Your brain doesn't remember anything. There's no memory up there at that moment. There's no sensory input. It's just a blur. Which is why I don't remember any of that shit. And anyone who tells you otherwise, maybe had a fucked up brain. Possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible. Maybe had a fucked up brain that came out of the womb, freshly capable of storing information. Just for you. But most people, that's not the case. For most people, your brain is just shit fucked. Which has a problem, because that would make Anon go insane. I'd go insane if I was a baby again. If I had to go all the way back there and spend like 5 years before I could just have a fucking conversation. Here's the other question. If Anon retains the capacity to process visual information and move his hand, why can't he talk? I don't know how vocal cord formation works, but like, my impression was that the reason babies are like that, like toddlers, is because they aren't experienced enough. It takes a while to learn something, even if it's something as quote-unquote simple as walking. Although apparently there's other reasons babies can't walk, but for the most part, why not? Would Anon not... Okay, here. Anon is an adult. He knows what his body can do. He knows approximately where he should be as he goes along. Shouldn't Anon be a prodigal child? Like, no matter what he does, Anon would be way smarter than any other kid, simply because he already has 18 fucking years, apparently, readily available in that brain of his. If he remembers anything of math, even if he doesn't, he knows more. And this is why you never do the fucking baby shit again. Because imagine, by the time he's 18, he's 36. Anon is going to be a goddamn middle-aged man by the time he's a teenager. What are you doing? This is why stories that do rebirths skip the weird part. If only because mental maturity has some questions. I don't even want to know what happens if you take an adult and put him in a child's body. What happens to you if you are maturing in an environment that treats you like, what the hell would happen to you developmentally? Jesus, that's fucked up. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'd be terrified of that. I heard baby food ain't great, for one. And two, you have to lose all your teeth again? That doesn't sound great. Oh, man. Oh. Oh. How would you explain to anyone what you're feeling and experiencing? Anon remembers being a baby. Like I said, that's not normal. That's, as far as I know, that's not normal. People don't remember being a baby. He does, apparently with visual clarity. That, like... Again, I'm not saying this really matters in the grand scheme of things, but it adds a layer of fucked upness that I feel should have been its own story. This is Benjamin Button levels of, that's kind of cool, ain't it? That's a good fucking question. But it's not getting answered, and I'm upset about that. Anyway, he's a baby with a snoot. He was a dinosaur. No, you are a dinosaur. Why are you talking? Why are you shifting perspectives? My tiny claws reach up to touch my jaw. I was a Pick one, please. Now the dot. Like, is the point that anything that happens to Anon is sort of compartmentalized as the past because he's responding to the input? I don't know. What do you wish to name him? The doctor asked. All the while my entire being was in crisis, wondering what kind of a fucked up dream I was having. And I felt more lucid than any other dream I've ever had before. Anon. Anon Agus. Anungus! I'm sorry to tell you, buddies. I'm sorry. I don't think we were ready for this. Anon Agus. Anungus. I know that at the time they probably didn't think of this, and honestly, it's probably just me thinking about it, but Anungus! It cracks me the fuck up. Why does it crack me? We never know. Finally, I did the only natural reaction to this entire situation. I screamed. Anyway, writer's notes. Ending one fucking broke me, so I wrote this. I hope to write more of this alternative start, I suppose. Or maybe like an NG Plus if you ask me. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's NG. New Game Plus. Oh god, someone else in the comments. First guy is like, Anungus? Is this an Among Us joke? I just figured I wanted the name to sound like Anon Moose, but now I'm saying it out loud. Holy shit. Anungus, yeah! I love how the guest made his name Anungus. Yeah, high five, buddy. We got Guy, another guest. I've been waiting so long for our proper NG Plus fic of Snoot Game, and now I finally have it. This is bound to be an incredible ride. Hell, Anon now has to go through life again. He's going through a lot more. I got a question for you. Why would Anon remember any of it? Anon is 18 years old. By the time he is 13, he will have been through 13 more years. Half of his life at that point, half of what he remembers consciously, will have been being someone else. Why the fuck would he care? Okay, listen. He knew Fang for like 6 months. If he takes 18 years to get back there, why the fuck would he care? Would he remember? There are so many problems with this, logistically. This is why those stories start at the beginning instead of before, because it makes the logistics so silly. Gaming is served. At first you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. Very interested to see where this goes. Well, that was interesting. Never seen this take before. The end made me a good chuckle. Screaming because of complete existential what the fuck, but he's also a newborn. You know, this guy's got it down pat. Here, clap, clap, gotcha. Hey, guest. I love your writing. Can't wait to see the next chapter of Tales. Oh, it had a different name at one point? Mi hermano en Cristo among us. Está jodiendo. ¿Qué esperabas? Danglien llamado. Ako bracadabra? What? You're damn right Naomi did nothing wrong. She is by far the best. Trip Hakumen. Isn't Hakumen that guy from BlazBlue? Do I recall characters from something that I've never played? Oh shit, I remember a BlazBlue character. Well, I mean, to be fair, the reason I remember it is he looks fucking sick. I want you to look up Hakumen on BlazBlue. That man looks fucking sick. He looks like a Warframe. Jesus, he looks fucking sick. Look at that man. I want him to kick my ass. I'd feel so cool. I'd feel so cool if he beat me up. Anon unleashes the inner orc in him. Also, I'm imagining a sort of a cosmic reset type, because the timeline job is depressing, and the cast deserved a happy ending, damn it. Such a usual beginning intrigued me. I literally love this fic. Oh, man, I love how these people are just crying. Oh, shit, we're making some time jumps here. These are like April, March, Jesus. Anon is a green skilled. Wah, crack. Ugh, everyone is thinking he's an orc. Oh, he does say wah. Para cuando no acaba. Oh, there's someone asking for a new chapter. I know a little bit of Spanish, just enough to read a sentence. God, I love that guy's profile pic. It's pretty fucking good. It's like one of those three cat faces people hang up. The Lone V. I think that guy has an OC. That's pretty cool. As a thumbnail. Don't like the clipping at the bottom. Oh no, that's just transparency issues. Fair enough. What's going on here? No, that's something that apparently the website does. How weird. Okay, let's see what's going on next. Also, I love your other Wannabe the Gator. Wannabe the Gator? Oh, that's his name. Ako Bracadabra. It's magic. Abracadabra in May. I Wannabe the Gator. That one is updated September 2024. This one was May. How interesting. Very interesting, Mr. Jones. A final look at the building became too much to bear. Oh, God, he's basically written the same idea for... I mean, admittedly. I mean, I'm all for it. Gonna do a little bit of the... You know what I mean. New hire at the old pickaxe. One chapter. Holy shit, that's a fucking list of things. I'll be honest, my man, if in one chapter of 4,500 words you manage to include sex, survivor guild, PTSD, multiple positions. Like, my man, where'd you get the time? It's 4,500 words. That's what I call condensed storytelling. That's not even a wordplay. That's just saying what it is. Okay, let's take a look. How big is this? Seeing if I'm going to include it, 89 graphic depictions of violence, explicit suicidal thoughts, reincarnation, slice of life, fluff. But is it smut? Oh yeah, he has art for this. Oh, yeah, this is where he gets the goof up arm, but he's blue. That's my attack. You're blue now. The amount of times that joke is applicable to any situation is just hilarious to me. So often I get to say just, that's my attack. That's my attack. You're blue now. No, isn't that... No, Sans doesn't say that because Sans never gets into a funny situation. He just fucking says, goes right to the throat. Holy shit, this first chat. Oh, God, we're 100... PSA from Safi. 50,000 words is a small novel. 11 chapters. And 12... And 120 words is not 11 chapters. That is not 11 chapters. That is not 11 chapters. What drugs are you on? I mean, to be fair, it's because of the medium. You can put like 50,000 words in an upload or something, or more, so it's not like it's telling you not to. Jesus. I wish I had some inspiration. But I don't. I got a lot of ideas, but no inspiration. Anyway, let's cut the recording. Safi, you gotta cut the recording at some point. You can't just keep rolling in the dough, as they say. I'm still glad that I managed to finish up Anon gets blackmailed to organizing Halloween. I still got an original idea for the rest of it, but man. Really? 25th of September is the last time I uploaded for this. Jesus. I don't know what to do with myself. Sometimes you just don't. Alright, I'm looking at some numbers. Oh yeah, I got a new user subscriber. Ain't that something neat? Has to happen at some point, but let's get to it. Safi, stop the recording already, you See, the magic trick is that people who are watching the recording will think that it's interrupted. The people who are watching the stream know that I just stopped the second I cut the recording. That's the fun part. That's where we get the good laughs, the good gaffs. Okay, let's hope to God that we don't get anything too weird here. Chapter 2, babyhood, any percent. Ugh. I need some chill tunes. Okay, I need some chill beats. While we're doing this, I'm gonna go. My name is Anon Agos now. Anungus. Not a Homo sapien. That's 2 words. Also, technically speaking, it's Homo sapiens and it's Homo sapien sapiens. Hold on. Let me tell you this. Oh, really? It's not Homo sapien sapiens? Oh, no, that's the term for like super evolved humans. That cool science fiction uses. But it is Homo sapiens. It's 2 separate words, and there's an S. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, but we're gonna have to look at this in Español. There is no Español version of this. So, gonna have to bring out the translator and see if, Un hombre sabio. Well, that's not Homo sapiens. You're pulling my leg there, Wikipedia and Google Translate. Consider my leg firmly pulled. Well, let's just move on with our lives and let's not get too onto it. A compy, never destined to be above 5 feet. Wait, no. Not a human sapien, but a Compsognathus. Sompognathus. Jesus. Anon, please, I need to say your name.
Compsognathus.
Compsognathus. But a Compsognathus, or how a certain Albanian stockbroker firm would declare it. A compy, destined to never be above 5 feet. I mean, were you above 5 feet as a human? How much do those things affect each other? Like, I want to write a few reincarnation fics and kind of play with the core concept of, like, coming back, you know, in funny ways. There are 2 broad ideas I have in mind. One being more serious kind of character, who plays with the idea of, like, powerful gods only do stuff because they're bored. And it's more complicated than that. And the other is you get reincarnated, but you have to put up with Ophinia. She's the one who has her big fat hands on the reincarnation machine. She's like, hey, what do you want, buddy? And whoever is in that room is gonna be like, what the fuck do you answer to that? What would you say to the reincarnation person with their big fat meaty hands on the levers? What would you tell them? Because defining a life is complicated. And I was being held by my new mom. And I was being held by my new mom. That should be while I was being held. I feel that flows a bit better. My eyes silently filtering between her and my new dad. My new parents, giving me looks of pure joy and happiness. Unfortunately for them, the feeling is not entirely mutual. Not because I was pissed or anything, but rather because I was still in complete shock by the fact that I came out of someone's vagoo. We're gonna have to censor that. I'm sorry. I'm willing to say fuck shit, dipshit, and motherfucker on live YouTube streams, but I will not show you the word vagoo. Not to mention what they did to the court. I mean, admittedly, it depends on your parents. They might plant it and put a tree on top of it. Look, Anon, that's your... that's your umbilical tree. It's gonna strangle you. That's how you die. How the fuck was this possible? I opened my mouth on instinct to speak, but only let out a distressed gurgle, stirring in the wrapped blankets. I think he's hungry. No, this... Okay, the mom is Joan. Oh, I think he is hungry, Joan. My mom, now revealed to be Joan, smiled warmly, brushing away her long, curly brown hair to reveal the fold of her hospital gown. You probably should describe if it's a hospital gown or not, because, like, pretty sure once you go into that, she did... Man, when you give birth, there's so many options. You can go into a cool bath. You can get 1,000 pounds of morphine jabbed directly into your spine, and it'll still hurt like hell. I mean, any effort you can make to vaguely imagine what giving birth is like. I imagine that it's, it fucks your brain. It is like getting hit in the head with a sledgehammer. And not only do you live, but the sledgehammer's still hurting. The whole way through. It just goes clean through like a ghost. A sudden feeling of dread overcame my time being as I was still wrapped up in the bundle. That's called being swaddled. My man, you are swaddled. To wrap someone, especially a baby, in garments or cloth. Just giving you want to be writing Anon as a baby reincarnated in a new body, people. A little extra work. A little extra words to work with. Joanne opening up the hospital gown as my eye. Oh no. She reached in. Oh wait, no. It's like they knew. It's like he knew this is very creepy and technically non-consensual in a way that's not gonna fly. Not gonna fly. It's so weird. The fact that Anon isn't even comfortable with it just makes it worse. Here's the thing, right? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a serious question, okay? Would they know or care? Like, we've been looking at this from Anon's perspective, and it's fucked up. But imagine you're the parents. You're Joan and this weird man. And you find out, hey, I'm not your son. I'm like an 18-year-old guy when I was 0 years old who fell into a grave and fucking died, and now I'm here. Or at least that's what I remember. How do you deal with that? Is he still your son? Would you accept him? Would you? I don't know, man. It sounds complicated to me. Sounds very complicated to me. It's a bottle of instant formula. I paused before I blankly stared. Hold on, I need to slap the yawns out of me. Ow! Ooh. I paused before I blankly stared up at the ceiling. Sweet relief and repose washing over me. There were probably certain people on a certain Mongolian basket weaving form would fucking kill to be in my position and get a chance to. And on. Gonna have to pull you aside, buddy. And on, I have some bad news. Those are like way low on the list of people who would kill to be in your position. I can assure you, they are not that high up if they're on a Mongolian basket weaving form. I'm just telling you, Anon. I've seen some shit. I've been some places, and I've seen too much to know. Although, admittedly, a lot of people probably know this from Yakuza, where they also play around with the idea in various funny ways. So, fucking loser, go play some good video games. Yakuza's great. Ugh. Joanne gently placed the bottle at the end of my snout. I imagine, personally, I would have gone with, like, you know, what they do with birds and stuff. You know, gotta squeeze it. Because I can't see muzzles working like that, though. In fact, the way the humans smooch and everything is very complicated when we get right down to the mathematics. The math that fuels my body. At first, I was hesitant, the fake teat in my maw, before realizing that if I didn't start drinking, she was probably going to think that I preferred the other method. So steeling myself, I started suckling like a baby, of course, slowly draining the bottle as my eyes peered around. I didn't recognize the hospital, but it was definitely in the USA, if the doctors and my parents indicated anything. Can you imagine you're reincarnated, but you're in Spain? It's like, god damn it. All those years of Spanish I skipped out on. Shit. Fuck. I looked to the right wall before pausing on seeing a distant calendar. And then I almost choked in the formula upon seeing the year. 201,000,2001. I was set back a bit. Not exactly in the way I'd ever imagined, but... Hold on. But more properly worded in a terrible synopsis title of a shitty light novel to hook dumbass readers. It'd probably be something along the line of, I got reincarnated as a compy 18 years before my agonizing mistakes. But this wasn't some light novel. This was real... Okay, listen, I like doing those kinds of references. And I guess it's something Adol would do, so you get a pass. Anyone else? No. Maybe Fang, though. Maybe Fang. Not because... No, Stella would. Stella would. This is real life. What the fuck was I even gonna do? Nothing. That's when I decided, as I stared up at the dark ceiling of the hospital, my thoughts occasionally broken up by another mewling newborn stirring in their crib. If there was any slightest chance that they were alive, that all my fuck-ups had been undone. If there was even a single chance that they were alive, you should probably emphasize that in some fashion, because you're referring to a specific set of people that are not in the scene. Just saying, you have to reestablish that stuff. It implies you're thinking about the baby. Also, there's this thing called spontaneous "your baby is now dead" syndrome. And, I hope to God you can avoid that, Anon. Because it just fucking happens. Probably because babies are fucking stupid, and their brains are fucked up. Man, terrifying to think about. And all my fuckers have been done, then I was going to do absolutely nothing with a second chance. I will be, and remain, a nobody. But everybody gets to live, or better yet, But everybody gets to live. Or better yet, live without having someone they love taken away from them. Fang won't... Fang will be somebody without me. I'm content with that. I should stir myself into a better position. Fresh tears beginning to fall down my face and onto my scaly cheeks. I attribute it to the downsides of being a baby. I only realize I'm just lying to myself. That hurt. It hurt, knowing what I had to do. But I had to do it. I do it 100 times over, for everyone. All I had to do was never try. My parents took me from the hospital the next night. The car pulls into the right side of the cul-de-sac. Garage door opening up on a big 2-story suburban house, showing off a clean and tidy garage, not like the hoarding mess that was my father's. My dad, now I know to be Edward after he and Joanne. Her name is Joanne. Or Jane? Are those related? Like Edward Ed, Joanne Jane. I don't know. As discussed on the way here, clambers out of the driver's side to open the door for my mother, unfastening her seatbelt as she rose up from her seat, bringing me inside as Dad turned on the lights. I think it's really weird how fast you're to adopt these people as your parents, Anon. I mean, I guess in a literal sense they are, like, blood relations. The connection's there, but whatever. Holy raptor Jesus. I won the birth lottery, which is pretty fucking impressive when you get right down to it, Anna, because there are a lot of Americans who have jack shit for cash. I'm just saying, Anon, statistically speaking, you're cheating a little bit. I've never seen Comic Sans using such a threatening aura, Jesus. Man, why are people arguing about Transformers? I don't know. Stop yawning! Stop yawning! Let's move on. I won the birth lottery. The entire house is a cross between pristine and homely, with marble kitchen countertops, glistening wood floors, decorative paintings, the works. Which made me think that there had to be a catch in this whole deal somewhere, knowing it was too good to be true. My eye suspiciously scanned my dad first as he went upstairs. Maybe he was a raging alcoholic? Or would be at some point. I mean, you got 18 years for the fuck up. And my mom, possibly a heroin addict behind closed doors, just ideas of how this lifestyle was going to balance itself out. Oh, they were both vegan, despite compies being carnivores. God, I hope not anything but that. Like, a lot of people tend to miss out on the fact that if you're a different species, your taste buds are different. Like, are you gonna miss the taste of chocolate? I'd miss the taste of chocolate. I'd kill myself. Suicide taken instantaneously. I'm a photographic genius if I do so myself. We arrive at a room at the end of the upstairs hallway, opening a door to a blue-painted bedroom. I quickly came to realize that this was meant to be my room, filled to the brim with toys and other kiddie devices, with my crib close to the door. I am put inside the crib, staring upward at the extravagant light projector with rocket ships and stars for me to play with. Not that I ever will, unfortunately for them, leaving me to wonder if they'll ever know that some loser nobodies are playing the mind of their sweet baby boy. Maybe there never was one. Maybe when you fucking died in that hole, like there was an open vacancy, and it was like, yeah, this soul's gonna do, and they just hurled you in there, buddy. The universe was like, I don't care, someone's gotta go in there, and you're dead. He's so quiet, Joe noted, to which I wondered if I had to start bawling and make a scene to avoid any sort of suspicion. Before pausing again, noticing that Edward was hugging Joanne close. He called her Jane. Maybe that's translation or old holdovers, who fucking knows. Their snouts nuzzling against one another. Must be from your side, she said, snout grinning happily. I don't know if you would describe a mother as grinning. That's such a weird thing to grin to, though. But maybe I just don't know. I've never seen a mother with a newborn baby that is apparently possessed by the spirit of a dead man. I don't think I ever will. Sounds neat. And as they looked back down upon me, I somehow knew they were good folk, not fucked up or twisted. Maybe too hard-working. At least for Edward's case, now that I recognize slight bags under his eyes. But that was hardly a problem. But that was hardly not a problem? What? Not like my real parents. The ones who only gave the bare minimum of a shit about me. With that thought, I yawned, realizing that the two Compsognathicus... Jesus Christ, we gotta put it through the fucking translator, because I can't pronounce this!
Compsognathuses.
Compsognathuses. Realizing that the two Compsognathuses had left the room, slightly shutting the door. One of those old-ass baby monitors hung against my crib to remind me of the current year. And with nothing else to do but stare into the darkness, I quickly fell asleep. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. My 80% glitchless speed when babyhood proceeds. First step, crawling. As soon as I had the strength in my arm, I was moving, adjusting to my weird new dino body. Edward was gone for work most days of the week, leaving Joanne to take care of me. Though I possibly gave her the easiest time of her life compared to other wives. Mothers, you should say. I feel mothers is the better term. Housewives is such a weird way to describe that. I haven't bawled or cried, and instead waited patiently in bed. The only time I ever make a scene is when, Okay, cool. I looked down at my diaper. And to think there are people who are into this shit. Potty training is at the 18-month milestone. Oh wait, no, he's describing this differently. Potty training at the 18-month milestone ASAP. The only problem being that Edward and Joanne won't let me go into any of the bathrooms, keeping the door closed. Fair enough, babies are known to snack on liquid bleach because they're fucking stupid. But I can't help but get frustrated how helpless I feel. Not emotionally, but physically. Bit of crutch, at least. I get to one side of the bed before seeing some soft caveman ragdoll. Oh, what's that? What did Anon find for Mama? Joanne says in a kitty voice, kneeling close by. The dissonance between, like, the mother, and then I go to Anon's big man voice. Having obviously placed the toy there to keep me active and take advantage of my perceived lack of object permanence. I resist the urge to roll my eyes before remembering that I'm supposed to be their kid, and, kind of made me feel guilty. Because I wasn't whatever hopes and dreams they had for me. I would have to ignore it. Oh, wait. Welcome to peak. You call this peak? You call this peak? So far, it's been a hell of a fucking ride, and I don't know if it's peak. Because I wasn't. Whatever hopes and dreams they'd have for me, I would have to ignore it. They'd be sad, disappointed, angry even. But it'd be better for everyone this way. That is a hell of a mentality to hold on to for 18 years, my man. 18 years of parents, of schools, of... I doubt you can hold on to that, Anon. Like, a lot of adults are like that because they never get birthdays. You're gonna have Christmas and birthdays. They're gonna take you on Halloween trips. They're gonna make you look for eggs at Easter. You are not allowed to sit there and be a sad sack. I'm sorry to tell you. Especially if they're good parents, which they seem to be. I'd be a nobody in the background and just move through life without thinking about it. I pick up the toy, staring at it for a moment. Kinda reminded me of Principal Spears. He was at the funeral. I put the toy back down, looking away, before seeing the concerned look of my mom, prompting me to blink. I love the idea that he's like, I forgot that I have to blink consciously. The automatics haven't taken over yet. Shit. Maybe for them, I guess I could put in a little bit of effort. I don't want to endorse them, but I don't want to make them think I'm a burden either. So I take the caveman toy and, clenching my nubby claws, I toss him over as far as I can. Bah! I yell a war cry in the ancient tongue of baby speech. That seemed to get a pleasant reaction out of her. Joanne's face is beaming. It's not really a comma. That's like a semicolon, or you need a Lincoln word there, buddy. Uh-oh. Bad? She then checked her watch. Oop, time to feed you. She reached forward, my body tensing up, still not just the prospect of just being picked up and plopped down, which is exactly what happens when I ended up in the high chair. She then moves off to the kitchen, opening the fridge to produce a sealed cup. The food situation also got an upgrade, going from formula to actual baby food. As in baby food meant for carnivores. And unironically, it actually tastes pretty good. Actually growing up as a carnivore, I guess. Joanne scoops up some of the gelatinous and soft meat stew into my opening snout as I eat in the high chair, making sure not to make a mess as she goes for another spoonful. You know, Anna, you say some people are into this, but can't help but notice you're not that I mean, to be fair, he's been here for like months. This poor man has been putting up with this for months. Pats for Anon. Be careful though, he's just a little man at this point. He's just a little fella, okay? You can punt him through a football goal at this point in time. About 12 months go by. I'm finally able to walk somewhat and speak. Not very much, just simple words at the moment. It's like my maw hasn't caught up to my brain yet. I imagine that would feel kind of numbing. You know, it's like your jaw's numb or like very clumsy. So I don't push it. But I do remember the first day I spoke and how accidental it was. Kalvish. It was the name of the literal brand of baby food they fed me. I was just trying to pronounce it in my head out of boredom until the wide-eyed look of my mother indicated that I'd actually said it out loud. I feel like actually works a bit better than accidentally. Edward was home during all the excitement, alerted by Joanne's excited... Again, the Jane thing just trips me up the more Joanne sticks. It happens, you know, like Oliver wasn't even called Oliver for a large portion. He had a different name, but I was like, whoops, that name's someone else's character. That wouldn't work. Everyone would fucking call me out on that shit. I think it was Robert. We already have Misty Roberts, and it's such a... Like, Oliver works a bit better. Feels a bit nicer. Actually, I guess that depends. Having... Edward was home during all the excitement, and when he was alerted by Joanne's excited... Edward was home during all the excitement, alerted by Joanne's excited calls, having put down the newspaper he had been reading and going over to pick me up, exuberantly trying me to get me to say their names. So I endorsed them. I think you mean enabled. I think he's trying to say like enabled, like you're kind of giving them something to make them feel better. So I enabled them with a typical dada and a typical mama, which has nothing to do with the fact that those are the easiest fucking things for a baby to say. I personally subscribe to the theory that dada and mama are universal because they are just the sounds that babies make. And people are like, oh, he means mom and dad. It's like, no, the baby's just making fucking noises at this point. You fucking arrogant assholes. You parents. How dare you know your baby better than I do? A random stranger. I will not have this. I have a degree. It's something. That made that day, hell, it might have made the whole week. But this day we had guests. I forgot what the name of the celebration was. All I knew that it was the last day of the warm season, summer's end. And it was something that the dinosaurs held sacred. So I sat in the backyard beside the lawn chair atop the grass, given toys to occupy myself. The grill planted with various barbecue meats, and a giant portable pool set up with a few older children splashing inside with glee. My grandparents were looking... Why are you putting that between quotation marks? You're already calling them your mom and your dad. You're already... Like, why are the grandparents a step too far, is what I'm trying to say, right? I get the point, is like, they are not my real grandparents, but it feels weird to cherry pick in this context. I'm just saying, Anna, you're being a bit... You're being pedantic. And we don't like pendants. Pendants? No, that's a necklace. Pedants around here. They were from Joanne's side, as Edward's parents had already passed away. Damn! My grandpa, Mike, was a tall what the hell? He sounds like a medical, like a medicine.
Therizinosaur.
Therizinosaur, with long claws. And my grandmother Melissa was, of course, a one of these days, Luigi.
Compsognathus.
Was a Compsognathus, like my mother. Their scales slightly wrinkled with age. It's all sloppy and floppy. Don't floppy that copy. Can you say granddada? Mike asked with a happy mouth. Granddada. Oh, Melissa is almost leaning forward off of her chair. Why not just say she's almost leaning off of her chair? Say grandmama. Grandmama! She gasps, claw over her heart as she leans her head against Mike. Oh, he's so precious. Yeah, and perceptive too, just like it is. Grandpa leans back in his chair. Who knows? Maybe little Anon will end up as... I like how he's called Anon, but everyone else is called, like, Edward, Mike, Melissa, and my son, Throckmorton. God, I love that fucking stupid... Your cousin, Throckmorton, the skateboarder. What kind of name is Throckmorton? And why is it the best name ever? When I die, put Throckmorton on my tombstone, irrespective of what's going on. People will think I'm cool. Ugh. Who knows? Maybe little Anon will end up as tall as me one day, too. Mike hoped as he sipped from the diet soda, somehow not pincushioned in his long claws. Melissa placed a claw over those scissor-like digits. Oh, hush you, she smiled. I never want him to go. He's just so adorable. You could almost eat him, which as a carnivore is probably good for you. Hell, you probably eat your young. I mean, humans don't eat their young for a variety of reasons. One of which you got a lot. You only get one. So you kind of want to save him. She then turned her head. Did you see it? Your brother Frank was here. I prefer it if he wasn't, Mike grumbled. The toughened demeanor and narrowed eyes reminded me of someone. Someone who was possibly hurt the most by me. I tuned that out instead of wondering what was the family drama before. Probably should put a comma there. Before looking around the party and towards the other I promise one of these fucking days.
Therizinosaur.
Towards another Therizinosaur who was currently helping himself to a bowl of salad. His long claws somehow able to pick up it. This is a long sentence. Yeah, I might want to cut it up. My grand-uncle, who I assumed to be, seemed to notice me staring, his black beak lightening up. Hey, you must be Joanne's little tack. Frank spoke as if I was expected to understand. I did, of course, but I wasn't going to make that known as I tilted my head with a blank expression. Wow, you're quite the actor, Anon. Or maybe it's because he's a stupid baby. Yeah, she really did make the cutest kid. A real central scrutinizer, Frank said with a smile. How about we don't bother with these characters and voices, because I just realized I don't know who of these are going to come back. I know, my grandmother exclaims in excitement. Did you bring your guitar, Frank? Oh, no, he's one of those guys. Nah, not this time. Left it in Joe's garage. Mike let out something between a grunt and a sigh of relief. Frank already moving back to the table to grab more salad. As Melissa turned her head to him, an angry pout on her age scales. So again, like, when you grow up, do people just teach you all the dinosaurs? Personally, I'd imagine that if you do this, you know, society would just be like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's not relevant. Unless there are big cultural things, which there can't be, because they very much downplay that. Like, you would describe someone by the features they have. I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like you're getting dangerously close to world building there, buddy. You might want to ease up there. What was that? What was what? Can't you just be happy for your brother? My grandfather paused before defending himself. They once called the cops because he was playing too loud. Ha ha! The loud laugh broke up the argument, seeing my dad greet another arriving couple. Two baryonyxes, the husband interlinked arms with my dad like a Viking handshake. Meanwhile, the wife stood by the sidelines, hugging my mom and separating, the baryonyx showing her own baby in her arms. So, when I was first introduced to this, I hadn't seen much of Wani Gator yet. And I'm pretty sure that the creator of this didn't know what Olivia's dad looks like either, because he shows up in one ending. That poor guy just sidelined out of Olivia's life. He doesn't even get a line. Like, Inko's dad gets a line. He gets that much. Oh my goodness, is that the Halfords? My grandmother asked before gasping. And they have a baby. That Halford kid was raining hell from above, helping Ed while he was down there fighting in Pangea. Mike took another sip from his can. If anyone deserves a kid of their own, it's definitely them. My dad was a soldier? Really could have fooled me with a scrawny build and round glasses. I mean, just to put it in context, Anon, someone's got to drive the car, and you don't need big arms to drive a car. only to pull out of the ditch. My parents and the Halfords approach, greeting my grandparents as I watch the exchange. Mr. Halford is giant compared to my father, selling the real commando look with his neck-length hair, which made it ironic that Edward was the soldier, while the Baryonyx must have been Air Force, going by my grandfather's words, showing off their small bundle to them first, before they both let a collective awe. Show it in, hon. I blink as they approach, Mr. Halford smiling before kneeling down to show me. Two cold grey eyes blankly look back at me, stubby snout closed. The tiny Baryonyx begins to squint her eyes in some form of infant suspicion. Okay, I couldn't help it. Aww, I blurt out, the parents pausing before bursting into laughter, perhaps thinking I was mimicking my grandparents, with the baby peering away from me, and looking at the source of this noise with annoyance. Mr. Halford stood back up as my dad asked a question. What's her name? What's her name? Mr. Halford smiled as Mrs. Halford smiled as Mr. Halford answered. Olivia. Oh no! Oh no! Honestly, I think it'd be a cute twist if Olivia ends up being a conscious baby too. You know, she's also in the situation. That'd be neat. I just think that'd be fucking great. You know, because usually it's just the one person who gets reincarnated and everything. But having someone else who's not even... Hold on. Imagine you get reincarnated and you find out that someone else, unrelated to you, also fucked up, and they're in the same boat. And this is the only person you can share it with. You can't put away your feelings because this person kind of digs them up by definition of existing. That's an interesting concept. Maybe I'll put it in one of those 2 stories I'm going to write. Probably not, because I'm not even writing them so far. That's a beautiful name. I remember on the phone yesterday. He tilted his head. You sure? Yes, we are. I don't even know what we're dealing with. Yes, we are. He looked to my parents. Olivia's getting baptized next week. We'd like you two to be there and become a godparents. My grandmother gasped before standing up to celebrate. My grandfather... Okay, listen. There's a rule I like to have, which is don't have too many characters in one scene. We have mom, dad, mom, dad, mom, dad. We have 6 characters, plus Olivia, plus Anon, in one scene. That's a lot of characters. A principal cast of like 7 characters and 4 mains can fit in this one scene's worth of people. There's a reason why you break those things up. It's fine in visual media like a cartoon or a movie or a radio play because it's easier to identify voices, but in writing it gets a bit complicated. Like, you gotta be more careful with that. You really shouldn't make a chapter 2 of all things. Anyway, my grandmother gasped before standing up to celebrate. My grandfather blinking in surprise as he sat shocked atop his chair, having punctured the soda can with his claws. Some of the guests having turned their heads at the commotion before coming over to congratulate my parents. Oh, I forgot. It's because the godparents... I forgot that detail. It's because they're going to be godparents. Apparently, that means something. When I first started reading this... Don't worry, we're almost at the part where I stopped reading. I never knew that, like, godparents actually had a meaning. I thought it was just like, oh, it's cute. They're the godparents. They're the cool guys. No, it apparently means something. I don't know how God feels about that, but we'll figure it out. All the while, I could see Olivia, the grey eyes still silently looking down at me, snout closed, giving me that same squinting look. I resisted the urge to shrug, turning around to hang about on the grass. From my limited experience, being godparent didn't mean much, just a glorified title of declaring someone to be your absolute bestest bud. I doubt anything. Oh, God, don't stop foreshadowing, Anna. That's illegal. Yeah, this is just chapter 2. Any interesting comments? Boyfriend of... Most surreal fic. Boyfriend of a school gets reborn as a baby. Boyfriend of a school shooter gets reborn as a baby with a snoot. What a twist! Oh man, that's tutorial. Panicked Frank Castle meme. Olivia Nassertek. Oh, come on! Why does everybody hit Naomi? Well, it's probably because writing Olivia Naomi is gay. It's very gay. Besides, Olivia's for Inko. Makes me wonder if Inko will appear. My man, I got something bad to tell you. Man, this guy is so upset about Naomi. I think it's the same guy as the last chapter. He's like, man, why are you guys shitting on her? Let's see. No, that was Drip Hakumen. I feel like I baited you there. Don't forget. I mean, it's kind of awkward to be paired off if you're... Cause I know that Olivia... Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Even in Snoot game, although she acts as... She is the antagonist! Okay? Listen, antagonist does not mean villain. It does not mean you're a bad person. It means you oppose the protagonist. Okay? The antagonist is working against or somehow opposes the good guy, the protagonist. You can be an antagonist and be the good guy in the story. Be the hero. If the villain is the protagonist, then the antagonist has to be a hero. What are you thinking? That's not what that word means. I mean, Anon's pissed off because he doesn't like being manipulated. And he just doesn't like her peppy beat. So it's not unreasonable. It's just how he wants people to be. You know, personality clashes. She got shipped with Nasser a lot during her days as an OC. Prototype Olivia? What? Ugh. Olivia in this universe? No way. She's growing a human to dwarf dino. Anungus. Pretty short-lived. Reborn is a fucking compy. I would stack the Ford and this cool dude is having a time. The Zappa reference. Ugh, man, there's all these references I'm not even catching. I'm such a loser. Hold on, I need to go to the bathroom, and then we'll continue on. And then we're gonna, I guess we're starting off on a freaking baptism, just like that. Just like that. I'm eating chips. One momento. All right. I'm a bit better now, Luigi. How about we get to it? All right. I got something taken care of. My bathroom. I should be less of an asshole now. Chapter 3. Simple, confident, random. I was brought along for the baptism the following week, watching from Joanne's arms and remembering my baptism at the same church. In this life, of course, not my last. I recalled spitting some water after getting some accidentally in my mouth. Don't say snout. That could mean any number of things. You got a nose in there too, buddy. This time, the priest literally just plops Olivia into the bowl. I freeze up, yet all the adults look on as if nothing is out of the ordinary. Even the Halfords themselves, smiles on their snoots as they watch me. Listen, if I were to do a reincarnation story, right, I don't want to set him in a culture he's familiar with. I like that exoticism, that idea of, like, adapt to an awkward new situation, you know? Like, when you do stuff like this, the differences and the similarities are the most important part. That's what I like, though. Other people just want to rub them together until they smooch. And that's valid. If it wasn't, I'd be yelling. Safi, is that a yell you're hiding behind? We don't talk about the yells I don't use. Safi, everyone can see that you're yelling. I just want to... You don't get it. You don't get me. Anyway, enough of that sad crying. I'm here to read. God damn it, why are people showing me... Hold on. Safi, pause the record. No. If I'm gonna fuck up, I'm gonna fuck up consistently. Enough of that. Let's get back. It took me a moment to realize that Olivia was fine. Better than fine, in fact, and was actually swimming around in the bowl as her tail paddled and splashed water. She then approached the edge, knobby claws grasping on the middle side as her constantly wary eyes, that's only 1 hour, seemed to scan the gathered folk. Giggles and laughters breaking out amongst the crowd before the priest picked her up. Stop it with these extremely long sentences. Okay? The average sentence length has been 15 to 20 words. Okay, cool. So if we're gonna go with 15 to 20 words, how many is this? Twice. It's 38. Again, it's long. This guy loves his long sentences. Run-on sentences, they're called. That's when you have 2 separate statements, and you keep them together. Like, I get that you want to have all these little tiny context and clues and everything, but you can split that up and make it work differently. Or you can use hyphens. Hyphens can be used for interruptions, similar to brackets. Guess that meant she was holy now or something. I don't know. I think being baptized helps with, like, demon possession? I don't know. I think it gives you a +4 to the roll. Except in D&D, they're like, no, that's busted. So it doesn't work like that anymore. It's like just a +1 to saving throws for it. It's fuck you, man. I got a baptism. God fucking dunked my head. I'm good. Let's put something a bit more snazzy. Yeah, that'll do. Title's a bit out of place, but hey. But I also guess that, most importantly, that man Edward and Joanne are now officially live as godparents now. What, like, they, like, take the water and they spit it on Olivia so it's infused with their god power? Achievement unlocked. Potty trained. Fucking finally. But that was old news. It had already gone by. I'm 2 years old. Close to 3. Man, I imagine that Anna would definitely be one of those kids who's like, I'm 6.5. For different reasons. Having joined the ranks of being a proper kid. Able to walk around the house without too much supervision. But I don't put that privilege to use much at the moment. Instead, using my time to sit on the couch and enjoy family movie night with Joanne and Edward. Schoolhouse, the School of Rock on DVD. About a pudgy caveman teaching a bunch of kids in a strict school to play music. It was a good movie with a happy miss and a happy ending. commercial towns overcome your insecurities. All the students go back to their proud parents alive. Why the hell is it bothering me so much? I must have made my displeasure known with the turn of my head when the credits rolled in, Edward taking notice. This is such a weird sentence. The sentence is, he made his displeasure known, and therefore Edward noticed. That is such a clunky sentence. Like, sentence structure seems to be this guy's big weakness. Like, the big weakness with, what's it called again? Life's Memories? Living Memories. Living Memories, for some reason, is now Toho? It's Toho now, I guess. Listen, I know I fucked up with Octave and everything, but this guy just gets to fucking invoke Toho? Oh, this isn't Toho. Excuse me. What the hell am I looking? Oh, this is Toho. Is it Toho or not? Hello? Are you a Toho? I know nothing about them, but... Oh, yeah, she's spell cards and stuff. That's Toho, right? Safi, maddeningly scrambling through piles of paper. Is this a Toho? I need to know if she's a Toho. It is a Toho. She is a Toho. There you go. That's all I know. That's the only word I know. She's a Toho. Yeah, for some reason, Living Memories is apparently caused by a Toho and some other god. It's... I don't know. I feel less bad about my bullshit, I guess. I guess the problem was more that I was doing it in the goofiest place. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be goofing when you're serious. What's wrong, buddy? You didn't like it? I paused, realizing it would just be better just to lie to avoid any discussion about it. It was good. He paused for a moment before placing a gentle hand on my shoulder, and as if on instinct, I reacted by slowly leaning my head against the side of his torso, feeling the soft gaze of Joanne to my right. Maybe it was from all the time I've already spent with them, but maybe I was just foolish. It's been 3 years, Anon! At this point, 1/6 of your life is with these people. 1/6 of the time you can remember is with these people. It's fine. But I guess, in a way, I really liked being the son. The Anungus were caring and kind, and didn't just treat me like an extra mouth to feed and a future projected cost. But I like actual proper family. It made me think about my decision back at the hospital. Was I really going to repay them by being a child that would amount to nothing? By the way, I got a fun tip for you because I got yelled at. Do not give negative instructions in hard to hear environments. If someone is fucking up, give them instructions that are not negatives. Do not tell them to not do something. Tell them to do something. Why? Because if I don't hear the not, I'll fuck up more. Okay? Limit room for error interpretation. I'm just saying, if you're gonna send a signed integer, send error correction. That's a pro tip from your boy Safi Crook. Out on the streets telling you about signed integer FTP protocols. Hell yeah, that's why you come here. That's the real reason. I closed my eyes, letting out a soundless sigh from my Snoot. You keep saying Snout, but the game's called Snoot. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, but you are betraying the brand. I had to. I just had to, for everyone. Another year. I'm 4 years old now. So far, I've spent the start of it wasting away in preschool, sticking to my own and getting a feel of being unseen. The only times I ever try to participate is when a teacher puts all of the gibbering and excited dino kids in for a group activity. Just at least to show I was socializing and didn't need any special treatment. And they're just gonna think you're, one of those kids if you don't. But as of now, I'm currently spending it in the back of the family car, buckled tightly into a child safety seat. Where are we going? I ask as the car rumbles, the plains of Dinophonian desert racing past the window. I would have said Dinophonian desert. If you say the desert, it feels grander to me. I don't know, it's just me. Joanne looks back from the passenger seat. We're going to see my uncle. She then emphasized, your granduncle, Frank? Frank! That man with a name who I can't pronounce.
Therizinosaur.
Frank, the Therizinosaur from the party, who also had cops apparently called on him in the past. I tilted my head, deciding to exploit the typical childish naivety of asking rude questions. Yeah, Anon is extremely gifted. He has 18 years of experience on everyone around him at all times. When he finishes high school, he is literally twice as old and twice as smart as everyone else. If he's not, what a fucking nerd! What a loser! Why? Because he's having a fun gathering at Joe's garage, my mom answered. And since I'd noticed the address was close to the Halfords, your father decided to invite them as well. Edward nodded behind the wheel before pausing. By the way, Joe, who's Joe? Oh, man. Edward was 20 years too early. Otherwise, he would have gotten fucking destroyed by a modern-day 12-year-old for asking that question. I don't know what the joke is. Who's Joe? What? How could it be 20 years too early? It's... Burb dinos? We finally reached the suburbs after a couple of minutes. Finally, after a couple of minutes is a weird way to describe that. Cookie-cutter houses whizzing past the window before we come to a stop, arriving at a clear destination with a multitude of cars parked out front. Ooh, I don't know, I really like that sentence. A clear destination with a multitude of cars parked out front. You can just feel the busyness in that one sentence. I unhook the seatbelt's harness on my own, clambering off the chair just in time for my mom to open the door, allowing me to drop down and land on the road, walking beside the two of them. Joanne reaches for my claw, and I grasp it, approaching the driveway to see it filled with dinosaurs, all milling about with red cups. It's the legendary American red cups. Show Mama. Oh no! Oh no! I've been Joed. I thought it was about G.I. Joe. But look, it's the mythical American red cups. I've been told by people that love America that the American red cups are legendary. They are worth a bajillion times their weight in gold. I mean, they're not that heavy, so... The open garage. I paused. There was a band in the small garage. The drum set literally smushed beside an antique-looking car with a mashed-up door. A cheesy little lamp at the forefront. Frank was leaning off the side of the hood of the car. He can just lean on the hood of the car. You don't have to double specify that. Testing the tuning of his old-looking guitar. Almost looking as if he had fished it out of a bargain sale back in the 80s. He then noticed my mother approach and be curving into a smile. Joanne, good to see you. Frank. She happily greeted the two hugs. Guitar still hanging by a strap from his shoulders. I wasn't sure about this anymore. Something unsettling in my chest as I looked at the crowd and at the instruments. A strange feeling itching beneath my scales. I mean, at some point you're going to forget about your old life, Anon. That's inevitable. At some point your old life is just like over there somewhere. Anon's in his 20s now, by the way. He's 22. Just making sure you know that. Thanks. Thanks for coming, Ed. He then looked down at me. Oh man, you're gonna outgrow me, little guy. Hold on. Hold on. Did you just call Anon a little man? I don't know if you know, my man. I don't know if you know, but I may have an appreciation. Go, little dude, go! Ah, he's so handsome. Look at him. Oh. I had to, okay. There's a part of me that needed to share that. I remind you, he exists. The little dude. Little babby Anon. He then looked down at me. Wait. A strange feeling itching beneath my scales. Frank then moved to my father, shaking his head with a smile on his big... Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, Ed. He then looked down at me. Oh man, you're gonna outgrow me, little guy. I hope I do. I reply, not even in any joking sort of way. No, the height of the typical every time.
Compsognathus.
Compsognathus. Very soggy. He groovin'. He do be groovin'. You're a real funny little Anon. Excuse me, his name is Anungus? Frank then moved towards the door that led into the house. Come along. Joe and I set up some stuff in the dining room for the kids to play around with until we got ready. Oh, he didn't need to do that for us, Joan gasped. It's fine. Figured I would do that since the Halfords are coming with their own kid. He grinned. Gotta say, Olivia's a real central scrutinizer. I think I was about to spill the beans on the location of my LSD. Sorry, forget I said anything. Guess I found Reed's spirit dino. What the fuck does central scrutinizer mean? I've never heard that term. It's apparently a Frank Zappa song. All the characters in Joe's Garage are fiction. What? This is all a giant joke? The Central Scrutinizer, the spoken word track that opens Act 1 of Joe's Garage. My guitar wants to... Frank Zappa. Huh. Huh. Yeah, that just happened. let's cut the recording there because I need a minute. See, the trick is that the recording, technically, I'm not taking a minute. I'm just saying I am, and unless they watch the VOD, they'll never know. Jokes that I should restart the recording, and they do know. The four of us entered inside, a chipped dining table in the center, and the lamp with a broken bowl hanging from the ceiling up top. Why are you detailing a ceiling lamp? But other than that, the place looked nice and tidy. To indicate that it's not that great. The Halfords was sitting on the other side as I lifted my snout to spot Olivia sitting between them, torso level with the table, after being given a bunch of cushions. That's not stable. She's gonna fall. She's grown a lot since I last saw her. No longer a baby, but a kid like me. She's your age, Anon. Of course she's a kid like you. What the fuck? Wearing a short sleeve with blue overalls and the now short green head-length hair. Her gold-grey eyes completely engrossed upon a piece of paper in front of her. The small baryonyx was drawing, a few colored pencils scattered on a portion of the table. A tiny claws occasionally switching out a pencil. Seriously, this is 2 very long sentences. Stop it. That must have been nice. Just forget the real one. The one who doesn't give a shit about you. On our own little world. Oh. Why are you being so mean? You have such nice parents, Anon. Wouldn't you have mellowed out a little bit? Like, you're like, oh, I won the fucking kid lottery. The birth lottery. And your parents are pretty cool, and everything's kind of nice, and you're still this... How can you stay this cynical? You have to be cynical like 24/7, or it wears down. Like, he's already doubting if he should just do nothing for them, you know? Like, come on, Anon, stop pretending. You're having fun. I'm the guy that slaps Anon on the back and says, you're not fooling anyone, kiddo. You're having a great time. We greeted the Halfords and exchanged pleasantries. Mr. Halford marveling at how much I had grown since he had last seen me, while Mrs. Halford lightly and gently pinched my cheek. Okay, so don't include that many grunts. I mean, the problem I have, if anything, is that these sentences are way too big. They are hard to read, and often they fuck around with perspective and flow in funny ways. They're not good sentences, is my problem. Like, it works... You know, there's Red Meridian, which is like, fuck you, who needs punctuation? I feel a few more commas and semicolons would have helped a lot already. Finally, we sat down, except for Olivia, who remained seated to continue drawing. Frank digging through a box for some random musical instrument. Mrs. Albert looked at Olivia, smiling, and said, Olivia? Olivia, look... Listen, at some point, you can just start using pronouns, buddy. Looked up, eyes half-lidded with suspicions, as if already knowing what her parents are going to ask, and decided that she wasn't going to like it. Why don't you show them what you're trying to... Olivia suddenly clutched the paper against her chest, vigorously shaking her head, rustling her hair. Swoosh, swoosh. No, she yelled, an angry frown on her snout and face. Well, that answered that. The adults smiled, and Joanne waved a claw at them. She's shy. Yeah, and stubborn, too. Edward smiled, looking at Mr. Halford. Just like Pop. The male baryonyx laughed out, his snout, again with the snouts, curling into a grin. You could call them other things. Call them muzzles. Call them mouths. Call them noises. Come on. Snout is like the clumsy word for me. I don't use it very much. It sounds clumsy. It doesn't have as much flow. Snoot. because it forces your mouth open. Snout is also fairly wide. But then it has that sn, which is a bit more closed, and goes ah. Unlike Snoot. Snoot. You can keep the oot out. One flows better for me than the other. The murderous glance of Mrs. Halford seemed to remind her husband to watch his language around his kids, even though I already knew what he was about to say. Gay sex? Good observation there, Ed. Olivia seemed to suspiciously regard the adults around her, trying to suss out any ill intent before stopping to scan me for a moment. The only other kid in the room. My kid with the snouts. So, Nasher. Oh, that's a great one. Nasher. So, there's another problem that I have with this a little bit. I kind of like that Olivia seems to be scrutinizing, but I forgot what I was upset about. Not very smart sometimes, you know. But, it's with reincarnation. If Olivia is also reincarnated and she's aware of where she is, which would be weird considering she seems to be the same person, I kind of like the idea of her being more like when you make a story where two characters they're not in it together. Anon and Olivia are separate reincarnations. You should have them have differing viewpoints so that they can contrast and conflict over it. Olivia might be like, oh, I like this. Like, my legs work. My dad's alive and here for me, and everything is better. Like, I like this life. You have such a good life, Anon. Why are you such a fucking bitch about it? You know, have that contrast and have the characters clash over that. That's fun. So far, this is a lot of padding. This is a lot of filler. It is setting up the relationship between these people, and I know the Halfords are going to die. Why are you spending this much time setting them up? Have one scene where the Halfords are these adorable parents and Olivia's such a good little girl, and then you fucking kill them. You are taking too long to say something extremely simple. Like, you start so strong with Anon's a baby now, and then you take forever to just pull the axe and chop some heads. Come on. Keep the story flowing. We don't need this background detail. Get to the part where Anon starts actually doing shit. Olivia seemed to suspiciously regard adults around her, trying to suss out any ill intent before stopping to scan me for a moment. The only other kid in the room. My snout was shut as I stared back, a second passing before she finally seemed to release her frown, turning back to a paper to draw upon it. Definite sign of a future introvert and making... You know, as opposed to the current and present people in... What the fuck are you saying? Future things are inherently in the making, Anon. Jesus. Not that I would be any better. I mean, you literally aren't. Like, Naomi had to fucking grab you by the neck. I found it. Frank exclaimed. Here, and I got something for you. I turned my head and freeze up. It's a tiny acoustic guitar meant for the claws of a kid. The wood slightly scratched, but otherwise as Frank's smile. But otherwise as fan as Frank's. First off, just put a period here. This is a sentence. Make it a sentence. Stop going on. The wood slightly scratched, but it is otherwise fine as Frank's smile. Why are you including this? The edges of his beak tilted. Like, include a linking word. This doesn't feel like it works as one big sentence. Because first it establishes what the guitar is. Then it describes the quality of the guitar. And then for some reason it goes to Frank. Like, this works. But, I don't know, it just... Like, I get it, right? You want sentences to be big and look adult and important. But big sentences are just confusing. You can have short sentences as an adult, okay? Look at all these short sentences. Fragments, more than anything. Why am I such a critic? Why am I such a jackass? These people are writing for the fun of it. They are not doing this for money. They are not getting paid. They're just having a good old time doing what they want to do. And I'm being a jerk. Too bad I can't stop. Found them on the side of the street the other day. You want to try plucking a few strings out on? No. No, I didn't. Why not don't? Why not don't? You just use... No, I don't. But any word I was going to say got stuck in my throat. Oh, that's why it didn't. Actually, didn't make sense in that context. Actually, both work. But again, don't write sentences. Try to avoid having too many sentences that rely on future sentences to make sense. Because it just fucks up your flow. People should not have to reread again Snout. But anyway, what I was going to say gets stuck in my throat, snout shut tight as my parents answered for me. Well, of course, just have him try it, Joanne excitedly says, looking at me. See if you can use it, dear. Alert. Alert. Okay. And what alert? The only alert we get in Snoot game is that Anon is uncomfortable around girls. Because, he's an incel who has created this mental idea that women are weird alien species that must be battled to romance. But spaghetti alert, apparently doesn't mean, like, urine. But it can also just mean that you're socially awkward. And I know that, like, playing a musical instrument is awkward. But you've been a kid for a while. You've probably fucked around a bit. Like, shouldn't Anon be like, I'm a fucking kid, and they love it when I do goofy shit. Why not? Just hit the strings. I don't know. It feels like Anon didn't experience 4 years of time. Like, again, stories are about change, and so little is happening, and so little is changing. You've set a baseline. Hit it with a hammer. Anon's baseline has been fucked up, but everyone around him, this cast of 8 people, fuck him up already. Jesus, just, come on. You can't start that strong and then slow down, hitting the brakes. Don't worry, they're not going to hit the brakes soon, but it takes too long to get there. This is too much lead up. And yet, I wasn't given no reason as to why. Why is there no period here? This is a period. This is not a comma. This is literally a period. When you repeat words like that for emphasis, that's a period. That's a sentence. Jesus. I was not given a reason as to why. Why my entire... Or you can use an ellipsis, I guess. Or a semicolon. But, like, a comma's too weak for this. Because the point is to stop and emphasize the word. If this was a script, the guy would be like, oh, this great, my first read is fucked up. While my entire body was in sudden alarm and completely locked up. I mean, again, I know the feeling, right? When you're young, and you, especially, like, Anon has a bit of... Actually, does he? He's 18 years old. At this point, he's 22. Shouldn't he be, like, slowly moving on? Actually, 23, if anything. But shouldn't Anon be, like, not giving as much of a shit? I mean, he's a kid. He's an adult who's now a kid. Like, if anything, his inhibition should have been lowered. Frozen as hard as my scales. It was like never before, too. Deafeningly loud as my parents. The Halfers. Even Uncle Frank were tuned out. Their voices like water. Oh, I know that feeling. The water in my ears as the world outside kept moving on. The guitar suddenly placed against my chest. My shaky claws grasping on it. Fang taught you how to play, buddy. Actually, no. I think one can be done without that. My tail pointed straight up in agitation. Tip bumping against the crossrail of the chair. Fine. Good job there. I could do it. Just pluck a string and give it back. Just pluck a string. Just... You want to try? What? Something bangs against the ground. I blink. The guitar is no longer in my claws, but clattered face down against the floor underneath the table. Everyone's looking at me. Even Olivia, who'd been startled by the noise, having ceased her writing, to stand with a raised eye. I feel a warm claw on my shoulder, somehow not flinching. Seeing this... No, he didn't write suddenly twice, Safi. What the hell are you doing? Seeing the suddenly concerned look of Edward. No, you. No, you. Toilet! You want me to? I immediately hop off the chair and rush to the bathroom, shutting the door behind me and turning on the lights. Why would he turn off the lights, Safi? Are you drunk? Turning off the lights, like you do when you enter a room. I'm so drunk. I'm not drunk, though. I'm just a little sleepy. The momentary pause allowing me to hear Frank's muffled voice outside. When you gotta go, you gotta go. I could hardly reach the sink, but that didn't matter. Collapsing to a kneel as my claw reached my chest. My heart was beating like a machine. I don't want the music right now. Let's turn it off for a bit. My snout struggling to breathe in air. Come on, what is... I swallow, gritting my sharp teeth and getting my thoughts under control. So, since Anon is used to human teeth, how often did he bite his lip and his tongue and he was like, oh shit, that's so much worse. What the fuck was wrong with me? What are you talking about, Anon? This has to be some side effect of being a kid again, surely. After all, this has never happened to me before, not once. If Anon inherits certain psychological traits of his new brain, like, you can't have both. It's too weird. There's fridge logic, and then there's like fridge logic is fine because your viewer reader won't notice until later, or some asshole on YouTube tells them about it. You know what I mean. And yet, why did I get this feeling it was gonna happen again at some point? Oh, he's got that feeling. He's got PTSD. Oh shit. He's like, oh no, I'm going to meet Fang again because I'm playing guitar when I was 4 years old. Goofball. A knock on the door almost makes me jump. My mother's voice calling. I like that he uses the word mother instead of mom. That does feel a bit more formal. It does give this compartmentalization. Hanon, dear, are you alright in there? Fine. I answer, too quick and too instant to be anything but fine. Fortunately, my mother doesn't pick up on it, pausing for a few moments before speaking. She's your mom and you're 4 years old. She knows. She should know. She's your fucking mom. Moms know stuff. Or maybe they only know when you're like 10 because they've been around you for like 10 years. And at 4 years old, if you had like adult level lying, they couldn't pick up on it. Because, it's the years that make the difference. That's an interesting thing to think about. We'll never get to learn because that's a hell of an experiment, but you know what I mean. Frank wants to show us and the Halfords around the place. Do you want to wait for us to wait for you? No. Are you sure? You're missing a closing quotation. Yes. Okay, dear. You can stay inside with Olivia while she draws. I then hear her move away from the door, walking off as the voices outside began to disperse. After waiting for about half a minute, I finally gathered the nerve to open the bathroom door, peering outside to make sure all the adults had left. I also had a moment where I was once locked myself into a bathroom because things weren't going right. Multiple times, actually. Once because I almost drowned. Ain't that some shit? Air escapes my snoot through a heavy sigh, slowly exiting back into the dining room. What, your sigh or you? Your air escapes, so it slowly... I'm just saying, Anon. I'm just saying, writer man, you should not double up on stuff like that. Olivia pays zero attention to me, still drawing on a piece... That should be a period. It's still drawing on a piece of paper. Makes me wonder just what she was making that had us so focused. You started off with such nice sentences, and then you're like, let's do a run-on. I deserve it. The guitar is by my chair, propped up. No, it's propped up. It's propped up against something. Although, I don't know. Maybe you can prompt something up against something. I don't know. Whoa, shit. Oh, whoa, okay. I'm sorry. I'm messing some stuff up in the background. And 8 great games for girls. And fucking Bloodborne's on it. Oh, that's great. Yakuza 0. Nope. Prompted is not standing upright. It is propped up. Sorry. The cold feeling beneath my scales returned, and my instincts and thoughts urging me to turn away. Don't want to make a cut? Let's make a cut. If it didn't make me feel good, then there wasn't the best option to cut it out of my sight, to cut it out of my entire life. It's a toy guitar for kids, Anon. Why are you so extreme about it? Seriously, it's been 4 years. You should have mellowed out a little bit. Other than the PTSD. Like that, the PTSD can stick around just fine, especially with how he saw Fang and the guitar and everything. But like, the language feels a bit much. But that's me. This could totally be a valid response. I didn't need this, and yet. Also, why guitar? Guitars are actually pretty hard for kids to play. Like, the manual dexterity required to properly strum a guitar is pretty high compared to some other instruments like, say, a flute, or a saxophone, or a xylophone, or a piano. Pianos are complicated. The proper piano playing can be very intricate. But compared to the dexterity required to play a guitar, it's a bit easier. Because guitars require hand strength, too. That shit cramps. My eyes narrowed. Snoot. Jesus. Okay, listen. How many times are we using fucking Snoot in this, okay? 23 times. That's a lot! Again, you're kind of overdoing the snout here. Oh, shit. They don't have long fingies. A violin. Oh, yeah, violin's a good one, too. Not a guitar, though. If only because tiny guitars probably sound like ukuleles and they sound goofy. Before I knew it, my claw had... Why are you doing this? And just take it easy. I didn't need this, and yet. My eyes narrowed, Snoot tightening, tail furiously waving. I was just tired of letting it. Oh, this is actually pretty good. Like I said, he's changing. Before I knew it, my claw had grabbed onto the neck as if I intended to choke it before tugging it to my chest, turning it sideways and sitting off the side of the chair. Jesus Christ, she's sitting like a hippie already. And then I furiously strummed, tail wagging in metronome. Something simple, something confident, something random. Simple, confident, random. Simple, confident, Somewhere I realized, strumming those 3 notes, those 3 had been the catalyst of Fang's area. For just a moment, I wasn't there, but back there. Wasn't here, but back there, in her room, as she taught me to strum. her warm claws guiding my own from behind, and head behind mine, beside my. Her warm claws guiding my own from behind, and a head beside mine, an unconscious smile on her snout. Jesus, snouts! You know, if I wanted to semantically satiate the word snout, we're getting good progress. I paused my strumming to blink away the tears from my eyes. The tick-tock of a nearby clock on the wall reminded me where I actually was. Just like that, the wood had already moved on. I was back in the depressing ringer that was reality, as the salty droplet trailed down the beginning of my snout. It was over. I bring a clothed arm up to wipe my eyes, resisting the urge to sniffle before lowering my arm. Olivia was standing right in front of me. Shit! I almost fell off the chair, the guitar meeting another unfortunate trip against the floor and producing a loud clattering bang, potentially earning another scratch on the wood. Olivia's staring at me, but not with the suspicious, narrowed look that she seemed to have given most folk, but something else. Cold grey eyes were open as if analyzing me with thought. That's rude, Anon. She can think. You can't just say she doesn't. No thoughts. Head empty. It was a piece of paper. Oh, wait. A few 10 seconds pass as I remain clutching in the arms of my chair before she. What a weird sentence. Before she produces something from her overall pocket, pulling it out. Holding it out. It was a piece of paper, ripped from a greatest sheet. Did she want it to. She tilted her head back, opening her snout as if to let out a frustrated sigh. Only that it was completely silent. Again, the big problem I have with Anon using the word snout a lot is he doesn't use it that much in the original game, but also, Anon's a human. He would talk in human biological terms. He wouldn't adopt dinosaur language. Even if dinosaurs use it a lot, I'm just saying, he wouldn't talk like that. She tilted her head back, opening her snout as it let out a frustrated sigh. Oh, that was completely silent, before outright plastering the paper against my chest with a shove. My eyes wide as I fell back and tumbled off. Jesus, you're getting murdered, Anon. I land on my butt, snout curdling in pain before hearing something. It was from Olivia. Her snout shut closed, yet cheeks inflated and eyes wide. Claw at the end of her snout to keep it closed. Seriously, you are teetering on the edge of semantic satiation. It's a miracle. It took me a moment to realize that she'd almost burst into laughter at my brief slapstick and misfortune, her eyes wide, before normalizing as if remembering she was meant to be angry. There! Olivia scoffed before turning away with an annoyed harumph, murmuring to herself as she climbed back into the seat. Murmuring is more for crowds, buddy. You don't... A low or continuous background noise, a softly spoken or almost inaudible utterance. Oh, it can be just saying stuff. I never knew. To say something alone or indistinct sounds, or to make a low, continuous sound. Kind of weird that it's both discrete sound and continuous sound. Just saying. Those are not the same thing. Put up your fists, dictionary. I looked down, opening the ripped sheet. It was a green dinosaur. I figured it was me, sitting with the guitar and surrounded by floating green musical notes. One of the quarter notes patting my shoulder as if to offer comfort, if the motion lines or anything. He's getting fucking pat-pats from a musical note? What the hell? But most surprising, there was a smile on my snout, my eyes gently closed. A 3-year-old drew this? Actually looked genuinely pretty good. Not disjointed or widely proportioned like the typical kiddie drawings. Isn't she? It's a 3-4. Like even details like my small shirt and pants put on instead of some featureless body. I stand on top of the chair, looking at Olivia, noticing the piece of paper that she'd been working on was now missing a ripped portion, clearly being where she had drawn me. Her eyes briefly peered up at me before peering back down. What? Don't use two verbs like that. That's very, very bad. Focusing on her drawing, I sit back down, staring at the paper, the tick-tock of the clock still going on. But the drawing, that remained the same. An unchanging piece of art that would remain the same even after time went on. Yeah, you're repeating yourself there, buddy. Point made. Because someone who cared had made it. But, okay, just want to put this down flat. The irony of musical performances is that they are not preserved through time. You should probably point out the contrast between the two. Between the ephemerality of musical performances, even if recorded, there's a component to it, as is I mean, like that's the weird part, right? Like the musical performance itself is the product, not the. It's so weird to think about. Sorry, I'm having big things here that do not belong here. For the first time ever since I was reborn, I thought about it before. The good times that we had. Fang. And I don't want to tell you this, but you're 4 years old. You should not be thinking about Fang. Fang would point you right through the soccer goal. I smiled because it had happened. God damn it. It's been 4 years, my man. It's a little late to suddenly have this realization. Maybe when you're 40. Suddenly, I heard another door of the house slam shut. My parents and the Halfords moving with urgency as Frank followed behind them at a casual pace. Come on, Anon, we gotta go. My father hurriedly said, an anxious look at his face and snout. Snout. But the pizza. We gotta get pizza. Don't tell me I got the hiccups. Take that, hiccups. Nothing kills you like a good sip. But the even as a 4-year-old reincarnated man, Anon knows pizza is where the real money's made. We'll get pizza on the way back, you should. I clamber off the seat, wondering what the rush is before hearing it. There were police. Why is that capital P? There were police sirens outside, a loudspeaker calling out through the muffled windows. Calling out, muffled through the window. That's a weird sentence. This is the police. Give yourself. Holy shit! Grandpa wasn't lying. I don't even know what Frank might have done to incur a raid on his house. If anything, it seemed like it was just a common occurrence. I like how casual he is about it, too. Regardless, I wasn't going to stay and found out. Booking it alongside my parents at the back door. Mr. and Mrs. Halford had picked up Olivia, who, through the whole ordeal, was still trying to draw on a paper, squirming uncomfortably in their claws. Frank waved with a sharp claw as we rang, a smile on his beak. See you next time. Let's come out of prison again. You got them diaphragm spasms. Man, diaphragm got hands. Safi versus his own diaphragm. We get back to our cars just in time, thankfully not parked near the driveway as Mom loads me into the child's seat, buckling me up before pausing. Slowly a smile rises on her snout. You brought the guitar, Anon? I blinked before looking to see the kitty guitar still firmly grasping my claw. I guess I did. Year 5 of being a dinosaur. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, now try this. I don't know how I'm doing this. Good. Now strum. I don't know why I'm doing this. This feels like a great place to use emphasis. Just saying, put some italics and bolds in there. Not bolds. They're very hard to see in this font. I don't know what they do at Archive of Our Own, but maybe pick a fucking font that has some good bolding. Just saying, your bolds are not visible. You're natural, Anon. Now just repeat it for the magic 3. But I'm learning to play guitar. For real this time. After Mom and Dad had set up some after-school programs using the exact same beaten-up kitty acoustic to practice and learn. Maybe I just figured that nothing bells. I mean, if you... Listen, my man, you have so many years ahead of you. Just learn some fucking shit. Be a Renaissance man. You might as well. You're gonna die of boredom otherwise. I mean, Anon knows all the videos that are gonna come out in the next 20 years. Boring as hell. Wasn't like I was... I mean, by the time those videos come back out, they'll be 20 years old, so he'll probably have forgotten them. I wasn't learning much in class, except for the Einsteinian equations of 2 plus 2 equals 4. I imagine 5-year-olds would be a little further than that, buddy. Are they? I don't even know. I haven't been in school in so long. Elementary school especially. Just saying, man. My tutor, Lambert. I didn't play much Splinter Cell, but I don't know. I just like Lambert. If only because his name is Lambert. The NSA initiatives. A Lambeosaur is wearing a tacky shirt. He looks super impressed. Let's play Old Man Hammond had a park again. What do you say? I nod just near to roll my eyes before we start, able to keep up with my teacher pretty well despite my small claws. Attuning to the general rhythm while my tutor shows off a multitude of single notes and plucks to emphasize the song. Once the lesson's done, my mother comes over to pick me up, moving through the parking lot as I bring my guitar. You're playing in the parking lot? You have to write the characters leaving the building. Just saying, it's a little awkward otherwise. My mom comes to pick me up. I stay inside the building. She's outside talking through the window. Pulls me through the solid brick wall. No, that's implied action. You're allowed to skip that. How was the lesson today? Did you like it? It was good. I simply answer, leaving it at that as we arrive at the car. Oh shit, you met her halfway? Damn, that's cool. She was about to unlock the door before receiving a call. Reaching into her pocket to produce a flip phone, briefly checking the number before answering. Hold the phone. Anon was born. Anon was born in 2001. Okay? He's 5 years old. It's 2006. The iPhone releases in 1 year. I want you to think about that. I want you, with me, to think about the fact that in like a year or two time, his parents are going to have smartphones. That is the time frame they have for flip phones to exist. What a concept! Oh shit. Well, the music broke. It's Footloose now. Let's go with that. Oh. Oh shit, no, this is the... I just realized this is where shit goes bad. Whoops. Can I sage here? No, I'm not allowed to. Sorry. She was just about to unlock the door before receiving a call, reaching into her other pocket to... What other pocket? She never took her car keys out. What other pocket? She's reaching into her pocket. There is no other pocket she's reaching into. You need to establish one pocket to have another pocket, buddy. Bada boom, bada bing. Briefly checking the number before answering. Hello, Edward. Why would she check the number? Her phone has caller ID. Why doesn't she have her fucking husband in her contacts? Hello, Edward. What? Joanne paused again, freezing up as I looked up at her. Why would you describe her as Joanne, then you use a pronoun, and then you go to my mom? Put a period in there, and there's something about it that doesn't read like English in a weird way. My mom slowly raising a claw to cut the end of her snout. The claws are the fingertips, not the fingers. Stifling whatever sound she was going to make as the tail rose up in alarm. Anon gets hooked in the shirt by the tail and just woo into space. First space program. Oh my God, are they? Yes, I'm bringing Anon back now. Okay, I'll see you soon. She hung up, closing the phone quickly. Not too fast. Before opening the door to the back. I looked up at her, tilting my head as I asked, Mom, what's going on? Just some bad news. Don't worry, dear. Joanne explained it off, urging me to climb up as I did so, buckling myself in. By the time we got back, it was sunset. Jesus, what a ride. Our car pulled into... Oh, it's an after-school program, so that makes sense. Our car pulled into... Actually, if you're 5, you're in, like, pre-elementary school, which usually are out at, like, 3 p.m., right? Like I said, been a while since I've been to school. Our car pulled into the garage before coming to a stop. I unbuckled and climbed from the seat to open the car door, closing it behind me as our mother waited by the entrance. The bill entered. The house was silent, the only noise being the tick-tock of the clock in our dining room wall. Dad was sitting in the living room, staring at the screen of an active TV. The shades of the windows are closed, leaving lines of orange lights to slightly illuminate the dark area. I noticed the house phone on the side of the table was unlatched, constantly beeping from a dead line. Ed? My mother asks, her voice growing shaky. Edward is facing away, but I can see the bare trace of a reflection on the TV screen. A blank, dead expression from his fading snout. Don't fucking do that, asshole. He responded. Just got the news. His voice is hoarse. I've gone, John. Another second before his shoulders slouched, slowly doubling over as air seemed to try to escape his shut muzzle. My mother rushed forward to the couch before hugging him tightly from behind. And I just stood there, watching as the world went on. The problem I have with this concept is it makes way more sense when you're an adult. If you're just a kid and a baby, like, yeah, the word goes on. You're supposed to be growing up, buddy. It was later that night that I learned that the Halfords got into a horrible car accident. Olivia made it out with a scraped knee. Mr. and Mrs. Halford didn't. Oh boy, 18 comments. Shall we have a look? Like I said, the story slows down and then just goes whoop. What an emergency brake. What do we got? Man, 2,000 kudos, huh? Woo. How do you diverge from the canon that much? I remember originally in the original Green Tech still has a biological father. She does. Don't remember if that's the case. I think it's still live in the Wani demo as well, but I figured I was just going to try to tackle it around my own stuff. Add the AO tag. You should. What about Damien? Is he gonna disappear Thanos style? Why do feel so good? Still alive and being an ace in dodgeball. Man, this is before anyone knew anything. We're in like 2003. 23. Do not add new tags until you add it into the fic. Nasser Olivia. It's such a weird thing to spoil. When it comes to placing a pairing tag or the pairing pops up in the story, it's a no-can-do, unfortunately. From my experience writing on AO3, some people actively search stories based on a pairing, and some will want to filter those pairings out. I want people to know what to expect, rather than just surprise them with a pairing that they might dislike when ultimately write it down the line and get them super interested. There's an argument for both. Fair enough. Like tagging on it's what it is. Add a tags contain spoilers in the tags. Too broke to buy. Oh, this is someone from April. Weird. Gaming is served. Active reader. I still love this man's picture, his icon. It is just Ripley choking the shit out of Addon. What more do you need? What more do you need? I'm surprised that Scary Dave has not yet shown up. We got Dave and Buster saying this is a good fic. I don't know who Dave and Busters are, but I'm glad they think it's a good fic. Honestly, one of the best written and most interesting Snoot fics on the site. That is a condemnation, Desert Fox 123. You have no idea. Like I said, even if it's not as big of a problem as it is enough of a problem that it should not be one of the best. As if only because the pacing is a bit glacial for what it really needs to be. Like, do we really want to read about Anon being a kid if nothing actually happens? Like, he's not interacting with anyone. He's not doing anything. Like, the world is happening around him. In those cases, it makes way more sense to just have those characters take the role for a little bit, have them do the talking, the first person, you know what I mean? I like how Zubanon is like, oh, those 3 chords, Fang taught Anon. But that makes more sense if the medium has sound. I'm just saying. It doesn't really work in a written form like that. I never thought it was 3 chords. I always thought it was like she taught him like some parts, like how to put strums together, chords together. We can have I've said it 1,000 times. I'm a man who loves his purple prose, but implied action can get you so far. I'm reading books, and in those books, they describe very little. Your mind is allowed to fill in a lot of details. They don't have to tell you what happens. That's why I joked about the whole, like, Anon is inside while his mom is, like, walking up and talking through the wall. Because, you know, you're smart enough to know that's not how that works. I made the earliest fan of Snoot game as I was of... Oh. Fang's Aria. What do you mean Aria? Ugh. Frank Zappa reference. Oh, there you go. Despite some odd choices, the way you describe traumas, the stuff of legend. Fair enough. I'm mostly complaining about, like, hard grammar stuff. I kind of want to do the next chapter, because I think at that point we will have caught up to where I was myself. I like how there's a lot of people that I'm, like, recognizing down here. Admittedly, it was 2023. Oh, great, we're getting character development in Chapter 4 if the comments are anything to go by. Okay, Bob's Burger agrees. I guess this is where it actually picks up pace, where it actually starts getting good. Oh, there's a picture in here. I saw a picture scrolling through. Oh, shit. Why the fuck is Anon Yamcha now? Oh, you lost to the bed. Can't believe Anon's going to fucking die to a fucking bed. Well, I think that's as good a reason as any to cut the recording. Haha, should have been at the stream, kiddos. I should actually be getting ready for bed, but... No, I need something that's less tense. That's way too tense. This is perfect. The funeral was held a week later. I attended, of course, standing by my parents wearing a black shirt and pants. The priest's eulogy tuned out as I stared at the 2 coffins. I remember when I was a little guy, and my former outfit had this woolen jacket for some reason. Like a woolen vest. All I remember is that it was itchy. That's all I remember. A cold feeling built in my guts, making me queasy and nauseous. I managed to tear my eyes away, looking at the rest of the attendees. Mostly dinos and a human or two at the Halfords now. Looks like some of them were former pilots. Not out of extended family, I assume, as there were only two baryonyxes that stood closest to the coffins. One of them was an age-old grandfather or granduncle? He was currently slumped forward with a shaky cane in his claws. The other was, Olivia. You should break this up. I feel that breaking this up and making it like a little review for the reader is great. Because it is so tragic. The only people that lived is a grandfather or uncle and Olivia. That is so sad. It's great when someone is like, that's so sad in an excited way. Fuck you, Safi. Her expression was simply just nothing. Sleep-deprived eyes that stared blankly at the coffins that contained her parents. The exact look I had at Fang and Nas's graves. Oh, yes, we're using the character. We're actually using Anon. The two most important figures in her life. Just gone. After the eulogy is finished, the parents are lowered. Olivia's grandfather, I assume, could no longer bear any burden, his crane dropping to the ground as he simply fell to his knees atop the grass. No theatrics, no jumping on the coffin or screaming to the heavens, just kneeling there quietly. Someone helped him up at some point, and when the shoveling begun, I'd noticed that my parents began to approach Olivia. I followed behind them, standing by Dad's side as he spoke up. I mean, if he's a grandfather, his knees are fucked up. Grass ain't gonna help you, buddy. Sorry. It's 2 deaths. 3 deaths. 4 deaths, technically, because he's got 2 knees. Olivia? A few seconds pass before the young baryonyx slowly turns around, eyes still peering down. My dad paused before slowly kneeling down to her level as she finally faced Edward, her gaze inching towards him. Just for, like, flow, she faced Edwards, but then her gaze is inching towards him. Like, again, you're mixing up your tenses and your order of operations in a lot of ways. It's really awkward. I watch as he gives a warm smile. How the fuck is this man smiling warmly? This man just lost a very close friend, and he is taking care of this child. He is not smiling warmly. We'll take you home. Olivia was going to stay with us from now on. We sit together and eat carnival dinner. Sliced steak, roast pork, and not to forget the main dish of the century, microwave dino nuggies. Shouldn't Anon have more reservations about dino nuggies considering Fang? I don't know. Yet despite the fact that dino nuggies are delicious and irresistible, are they made of real dinosaurs? Because that's, with how people talk about it, it really does feel like they're made of real dinosaur, and that's why they're so special. Olivia didn't touch a single piece on her plate, her claws instead clutching at the side of the table, having not yet picked up a single piece of silverware. Actually, that works better. Picked up a single piece of silverware. Piss, piss. My parents are sitting beside her, trying their best to encourage her to eat. I still don't know the difference between beside and besides. I just know that sometimes Google Docs yells at me. I think the raptor-shaped ones are the most delicious. You should try one, Olivia. My mother claims. Oh, he says mom. I guess he switches. A weird thing to switch, like you usually call your parents one, or maybe you switch on context because you're being funny, but you may have softened up a little bit. Olivia murmurs something. Yeah, I guess you could murmur like that. Both my parents pausing before trying another tactic. My dad speaking up. There's wild berry ice. There's wild berry ice in the freezer. They're both getting desperate, resorting to the dessert option. But even that seemed to fall flat as Olivia shook her head. I'm not hungry. She then paused, murmuring again, I want to sleep. I know some people expected me to stick with Kitty Olivia, but we are getting Smoker Olivia. We are getting the raw deal, or we are getting nothing. It's the law. Mom and Dad look at each other for a moment, nodding before looking back down. Don't use repeat verbs in the same sentence, please. Like, there are so many good... Like, the problem is that semantic satiation, it's more like a semantic trip. It's not satiated. You're not thinking about the words yet. But you are like, huh? There are a few exceptions. There are verbs and words that you just cannot get around, which are somehow immune because they are so fundamental. But, like, you know what I mean. Of course, dear. Why is that uppercase? Are you German? Are all your nouns uppercase and you've been lying to me? I thought you were Spanish. Because everyone here around here is fucking Spanish. He's Spanish. She's Spanish. The fucking snail is Spanish. Are there any other Spaniards I need to know about? Because I'll have you know, I'm Dutch, and I don't like the Spanish very much. I'll fucking poke those dykes and drown your men. You hear me, you Spaniards? I just love the idea of that you can just break a dike, flood an area, sail a boat in there, and go for some fucking Navy Team SEAL Tech 6 Marine garbage. Just... what the hell? Just drive a boat straight into a camp. You can do that. Now's not the time, though. My mom and dad are looking at each other for a moment before gazing back down. Of course, dear, it's been a long day after all. She then looked to me, noticing that my plate was empty. Oh, you're finished, Anna? I nod, peering at Olivia and knowing she was still suffering. At 5 years old, is Anon old enough that if he was a normal child, he would have been, like, receptive to this? Or is he still at that age where I'd be like, I don't get it, Dad? She was still suffering. Do you think you can show her where we put her toothbrush and pajamas upstairs? I nod again and clamber off the seat. Clamber? It's a seat, Anon. You climb off a seat. Clamber sounds so heavy and cumbersome. Unless your parents buy some shitty sheets. Shitty seats. Olivia wordlessly joining me as she walked in front, both of us going upstairs. I briefly looked back at my parents, now seated beside each other. Although they were turned around, I could see both their arms over each other's shoulders, letting me imagine that their hands were also intertwined atop the table, trying to reassure each other. Oh, I know that pose, and that is... that's how you know shit's bad, when the parents need to... My parents didn't know what to do. They don't know what to do, Anon. You are using present tense. Why are you switching to past tense in, like, moments where you shouldn't? Again, it feels translated, because those are nuances. I'm not native English speaking, okay? I just have so much experience that I can fool people into thinking I'm American. But, come on. Although people usually say that I speak English with a slight American accent. You know, I sound like one of those filthy colonists. Guffaw. I wish I had a face of man to throw away when I said filthy colonists. I love face of man. Wah, there it goes. How will I watch the theater now? No, the face of man is just the glasses. I forgot what the goggles are called. Theater. Goggles. What are they? Theater glasses. There you go. Also known as theatrical this is the one I know. Galleon binoculars. Hell the fuck yeah. In addition to... made in occupied Japan? What? Why is that added to this? That's not fucking relevant to this, you bingus. There better be a face of man here. Wait, that's not a face of man. No, that is a face à main.
Face à main.
Face à main. But it can also be called a lorgnet. Lorgnet. It's French, so you just ignore half of the fucking syllables. Half of the... just...
Lorgnette.
It's French. The consonants are going wild. Anyway, enough face a man's getting tossed aside callously because of those filthy colonists. My parents don't know what to do. We arrive at the upstairs toilet and I show her inside. Olivia's silent as she blankly watches. Again, I feel like you should put in more periods just to make the text feel less... Like, I get the ideas that Anon is, like, you know... It's just thought process and everything. But a lot of writing, even if they do that, they tend to separate thoughts that are run on from just the character describing events, as it were. Your toothbrush is up there. The 5-year-old... Your toothbrush is up there. A point by the sink, a small step stool by the base of it. And, I look at the towel stand, her sleeping clothes hanging off the side. That's your pajamas. She quietly moves over to it and takes it off the pole. I instantly get the message, leaving the bathroom and closing the door behind me, silently waiting somewhere less awkward as I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. I turn to see my parents. My mother, of course, gestures towards the bathroom. Is she... I nod. Man, that's subtle. Suddenly hearing the door open to see Olivia again, now dressed in a jam, in her PJs, and ready for bed. For some reason, whenever I see PJ, my brain is like, that means peanut butter and jelly, right? peanut, P, jelly, J. Remember to put on your PJs before bed so the dinosaurs can eat you. You gotta stay tasty, buddy. We move to my room as my dad opens the door and turns on the light. Listen, if you don't want me fucking ruining the mood, go read the fic yourself. I encourage you to. A few days ago, we had taken almost all of Olivia's stuff and brought it over from the now empty Halford household. Even her bed, which now lay set up on the other side of my room. My parents are still working on rearranging the furniture to set up Olivia's own room. The three of them make their way to the other bed as I briefly remember to get changed myself, running to the bathroom and closing the door behind me. Is it normal to keep your kids' pajamas in, like... Because if they're... could you just put it on her bed? It's such a weird thing to do. Especially if all she does is put on her pajamas, right? Just do it in the bedroom and don't... Like, too many scene shifts, Keep your scenes straightforward. Oh, how I miss the day of just sleeping in a boxer shirt. It's been 5 years, Anon. It's been 5 years. You slept in a diaper. That's pretty much a boxer. Oh, that's a sentence and a half. By the time I come back out and return to the room, Olivia's lying on her bed, Edward and Joanne tucking her in. They remain by the side of her bed for a few moments as I climb into mine, wordlessly telling Olivia that they were there for her. My mom running the back of a gentle claw against the side of Olivia's snoot. Olivia shows no reaction, and my parents stand back up with Edward speaking. Good night, Olivia. He then turned to me. Good night, Anon. He probably wouldn't do that, because that, kid probably pick up this fucked up. I gave a small nod before they turned off the lights, leaving a small nightlight in the corner. You're 5 years old, Anon, and technically an adult. He's 24. No, 23. Yeah, 23, 24. A minute or so passes in the darkness as I stare up at the ceiling, thinking about today. Losing Fang and Nasa broke me, and I was 18. Olivia lost both of her parents. She's only 4. Again, why is it past tense? She's still 4 at this point. Come on. What a cruel and fucked up world. I mean, technically Fang and Nasa are alive. Like, don't think too hard about how that works out time-wise, buddy. Again, that's why reincarnations are a bit weird in some ways, and it's fun exploring that. The sound of a cut-off saw broke me from my thoughts, subtly shifting my hand to hear the small gasps and sniffles originating from Olivia's bed. She was crying. I imagined that she would have pulled the sheets over her, and for a moment I recalled my decision back 5 years ago, to remain a nobody in life, to not risk fucking anything up for anyone, to never, ever try again. I don't know, I feel like emphasis would work, if only because, on the theater stage. Gotta shout at everyone because they can't hear you in the back. But after hearing Olivia weep for her dead parents and knowing that old me would have decided that this was not my problem, or worse yet, what? But after hearing Olivia weep for her dead parents and knowing that old me would have decided it's not my problem, or worse yet, made it about my... What is the sentence trying to do? Why is that bottom part? Listen, this part is that sentence. Not only does this man put sentences together that are not one sentence, he splits up sentences that really should be the same one to make sense. This should be rewritten, right? This should be train of thought. But hearing Olivia weep for her dead parents, old me would have decided that wasn't my problem. Or worse, made it about me. Something in me just snapped. Something like that. Like something that flowed. Because this is so... First draft, no emphasis or attention for flow and rhythm. The rhythm and the rhyme. I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. It's party time. It's party time. If you are attending the stream, you will, at some point, if anyone mentions party time, I will bring up Titanic. It's important. Enough of that. Fuck that. Again, italicizing this would have been a massive help because it really emphasizes that he's talking. It's just small things that really add up and make this writing so stiff. You can just flip the switch. Your room is dark. It's implied that the light is off. You even just flip the... You don't... Fuck you. I flipped the switch on my bedside lamp, lighting up the room once more. Olivia quickly stirred in her bed to face away and pretend to be asleep. And pretend to sleep. No, she's pretending to be asleep, not pretend. What am I talking about? Her form still quivering. Shouldn't you say like though she's still quivering? That feels more natural. Hey. Again, I feel like I speak up makes sense in some contexts. Like when you're talking when there's a big conversation going on and you speak up to talk over people, it makes sense. You do not speak up if no one's talking and you're just talking. You're just saying shit at that point. Like you can put it before here and say like I speak up, hey, so like I'm interrupting this particular moment, but you can't say it after the fact because it's obvious. You've spoken. That's what you've done. Your action is there. It is. You've shown and then you tell. Why are you telling after showing? You clown. It's like, oh, you know, if telling is better than showing, if showing is better than telling, then surely doing both is better. it's the kind of fucking mindset you gotta have to do that. Fun fact, I do that too. That's why I do revisions. Sometimes I miss it, because I'm stupid too. Olivia tried to maintain the facade. By the way, fun fact, the C in facade is that funny C that the French use. Let me see if I can find it. Listen, Wikipedia, I want to see the letter C. Because I want to know how it's pronounced. The Latin script. There it is. There's that funny C. It is called the C cedilla. A wee wee. I have no particular problems. I just think it's a funny letter. But it also appears in facade. For some reason. It could just be an S. That's what you get when you import words from the French. Olivia tries to maintain the facade for a few seconds before slowly peering at me, her golden grey eyes catching mine as a smile grew on my snout. You know, I never really went back to check to see how that art stream did, posthumously. I had fun doing it. It's a little awkward showing off my art, because I'm not used to that, but it was fun to do, you know? And now we have a thumbnail. Also, I got a copyright strike. Ain't that some shit? I don't know who did it, but I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I love how the initial sketches look like hot dog shit, but the final art is alright. I kind of want to see what is the copyright stuff? Jazz Club 95? Just gonna erase the song. Oh shit. Yeah, just mute all the claim sections. It's more about the art anyway. Besides, the VOD, who fucking cares? Check this. I then prepare myself for a second, making sure she's watching. This will be my magnum opus, the first of many that I would come to do in my new life. Gathering all my energy, I did the motions, as I have done 1,000 times before. I fall snoot first off the bed. Again, snout is such a weird word to use for this. Especially since snoot is such a cute soft word. He's doing a cute soft thing. Performing a perfect high-velocity combat roll. Oh, excuse me, he's being very fancy. I fall snoot first off the bed, performing the perfect high-velocity combat roll of the century. The type that give you actual A-frames, you know, for building. I-frames in a video game. My body then readies itself for a full-body tackle that not even the best lineman could have hoped to replicate. And then my most powerful attack. I headbutt the floor. The force goes off like a motor shell, rivets of tight pressure releasing from the site of impact and... Rivets of tight pressure? Okay, I'm bullshitting. If anything, I kind of fucked it up. My leg claw slipped as I gasped like an idiot, falling like a clump of scaly limbs and landing painfully on my side, my death pose having me lie on the ground. One leg above the other, while my biceps rested above my other arm. The only thing it lacked was a creator to complete the pathetic side, but I think that was too much to ask for. Anyhow, it didn't matter. It worked perfectly. Olivia's formerly teary eyes bulging as her cheeks expanded. It worked perfectly. Olivia's formerly teary eyes bulged as her cheeks expanded. Ma, struggling to keep closed, her entire face turned red. She then mashed her snout into the pillow, bursting into an absolute muffled laughter. Laughter that would have engulfed the entire house had she not taken steps to quiet it. You don't make steps, you take steps. I look up from the floor, the edges of my snout curled into a smile, ignoring the pain in my body. That was absolutely worth it. Finally, she separated from the pillow, still struggling to contain those giggles, calming down as I looked at the drawer beside my bed. There was a reason why I even did that maneuver in the first place. Standing up, standing up to the back of the room, Olivia watched me, not with weary eyes, but with curiosity as I fished through a duffel bag. Why do you have a duffel bag? You're a kid. Who the fuck gives their child a duffel bag? Within a second, I found it. My parents had really gone all out. Oh, it's hers, isn't it? Why would they get it for him? A 120 pack of high quality colored pencils, the type meant for serious artists, as well as an entire stack of printing paper. Printing paper is not the same, Anon. That's for printing. It's made to handle printer ink, not pencils. Like, seriously, get us some proper art paper for drawing. I managed to pull out both items, holding them for Olivia to see. Her eyes slightly widened. Her interest was definitely caught. Isn't your room dark? Like there's one light and a night light on. How can she see the color? She pronouns the colors. Olivia, you want to draw some stuff? Again, this is worse, right? I already complained that like this is you're telling after you've shown. This is a question. Why are you a whole white line later putting this down? Just put it over here like you've done before. That's better, but like this draws out something in a weird way. We spent the next few minutes lying on the floor beside our beds, parallel to each other, using the wooden floor as a stable surface. Olivia was making good use of the colored pencils, switching them out from time to time. I mean, that's how coloring works. Unless she's drawing like one color. All I did use was the black pencil because it was the most like a normal pencil. Did they just buy her coloring pencils? Buy her some proper like I remember back in the day when on TV they complained about you have to use the proper hardness of pencil, an HB or whatever. I'm creatively bankrupt. Says the man who's learning how to. Anna, you're literally learning how to play the guitar. What the fuck drugs are you on? You don't learn to play the guitar and then say you're creatively bankrupt. I mean, you can after you become an artist and everyone says, "Man, that music's so great," and you just stole it from the future. Pausing for a moment, I decided to draw Olivia drawing, experimentally trying to create a perfect circle before messing up. When I reached the other diameter, the basis of a head now completely already misshapen. That's why, Anon, you draw in small, quick lines. You can connect them together, and it's far easier to make many tiny lines than one big one. I then measure out a snoot, doodling sharp teeth, and then completely end up messing up the nose. Wow, I suck at this. After finishing up the rest, I'm suddenly conscious of the edge of the paper, bumping against the side of my head. Looking to the side, I see Olivia trying to show me what she had drawn. It was me, almost accurate to a T of how I was lying on top of the floor after falling off the bed. She had even added a crater and battle damage to my pajamas with holes and bruises and lined my clothes. It was almost shocking that a 4-year-old drew this. With coloring and shading, too. You mean a full render, Anon? I then showed her mine, feeling completely inadequate. I drew this. Olivia paused, before her face seemed to scrunch up, her snoot letting out a silent gag. Yours stinks, she simply said. Ouch. Kids really are brutally honest. Again, I kind of like the idea of like two people are reincarnations, and they're not sure if the other is. There's this implication early on, but that's so weird. That's got to be annoying, right? You're like, maybe this person can get me. But that'd be weird, right? Normally one person... I just like playing with formats. I like world building. I like playing with formats. Apparently, I just don't like actually fucking writing. What a loser. You're a loser. Do you feel sorry for yourself? I should. Anyway. I decided to play around with the words, smiling as I shook my head, exaggeratingly disagreeing. Nuh-uh. I then placed my paper back down, scribbling stink lines coming from her head before showing it to her again, giving her my best "this is you" face that I could muster with my snoot grinning ear to ear. Now it stinks. She smiles in genuine amusement at my stupid joke. Before her eyes narrow in determination, looking down to quickly drawn doodle. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna get destroyed. I'm in danger. After furiously scribbling and going through a multitude of colored pencils, Olivia finally showed a finished project. Now, instead of me just laying atop the ground and cratered, a new figure stood, victorious over my defeated corpse. Why did she lay out her page like that? My bed, given life and standing on its two wooden legs, the side rails acting as its arms, undressed in a black blanket that wrapped around it like a gi, torn and ripped at the sleeves, back turned to proudly show a red menacing waistcoat on its cloth, as its pillow head seemed to peer from behind and disgusted my weakness. If you want to see this picture, how about you read the fic itself? But it's a pretty cool picture, for what it's worth. Motherfucker definitely traced that Yamcha. I like that Anon wears slippers and looks like Inko. Goddamn. You lost to the bed. I made a show of closing my eyes and collapsing backwards as if unable to comprehend the trauma of getting hit with that realization. Head bumping against the floor as Olivia giggled out, then rose back up, about to ask what she was going to draw next before a low groan was heard. Olivia and I blink. Olivia, did you... I then hear it again, realizing it's coming from Olivia's body, or more specifically from her stomach. The young baryonyx is now clutching the growling organ as her snout tightened. Again, why are you so fixated on the word snout? Like, did you translate snoot and you didn't get it? Because, like, again, the word people use is snoot. Or are you specifically trying to avoid it? In which case, you're not doing it right. I slowly begin to stand up. You know, I think there's still some of the... Wait. She suddenly grabbed my wrist. I blinked, looking down at her, the baryonyx facing the floor. Can't pay, Mrs. Eccles, she murmured. I paused, now tilting my head. Pay? My parents? Olivia lets go of my wrist, keeping her eyes trained on the floor. Wait, so this whole time you didn't want to eat because you thought you had to pay us back? Why would she think that? Olivia has been to more dinners, right? This isn't the first time? Why would she... Why would she think that? That's such a... I mean, I guess she's a kid, you know. Kids are stupid. But it's such a weird thing. Because observationally, there's nothing that should imply this. Unless every time she got Dino Nuggies, there was like a reward. That's possible. Anyway. They're having... Actually, Bayside bumming it? No, let's go for those two weirdos. She pauses before slowly nodding. Now it was my turn to scrunch my eyes in confusion, completely perplexed as why she thought that in the first place. Then, what were you going to do about food? Olivia gestured to the window. Go out, hunt deer. I paused, and then remembered Olivia is still 4 years old. And 4-year-olds are still stupid fucking kids. I thought for a moment before an idea came to mind. Turning and approaching my drawer to open it, Olivia tilted her head at first, blinking as I pulled out a ripped piece of paper, and on it the drawing of me back that she had made at Joe's garage. Remember this? I show it to Olivia, her gold-gray eyes widening in surprise. She takes it from my closet and stares out. You kept it? I nod with a smile. Yes. Why? Pausing for a second, I took a moment before answering. Pausing for a second, I took a moment to think. What the fuck did you pause for then, buddy? Stop it with the tautologies. Before answering. Because it showed that someone cared. Cared that I was upset. That I existed. That is existential. No idea. She will not get that. I was probably using words far more advanced than anything a 4 or 5-year-old should know. Existed is the only hard word there. Because there's an X in it. But no matter. It seemed like she was understanding what I was saying. And when you show that you care for someone, it becomes priceless to them. I smiled. I smiled a smiling smile. So let me get you some Dino Nuggies. Yeah, you've officially paid for infinite Dino Nuggies. It's priceless. Olivia pauses for a few moments, looking down at the drawing before looking back up, nodding. Again with the looking. It's so clumsy. How is this the best? Like, it hits notes. Like, the general idea of the progression of the character moments are good. But just, like, pacing and rhythm and everything else... I'm sorry, man. I'm giving you a C+ or, like, a B-, but only because I like what you're trying to go for. Like, you ain't passing English class with this one, buddy. Buster. It's been a while since I've called someone Buster Brown for no good reason. I like saying it, and yet I don't. What a clown. We're approaching my bedtime. But we are getting this done. I turn to leave the room, quietly opening the door and into the... What? Quietly opening the door and into the dark hallway? You either open the door into the hallway, or you open the door and leave into the hallway, which is weird. Like, again, a lot of language problems. And I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, we're just... Summary, the person does not fully understand English to the point that they can write a fluent sentence. You wouldn't fool anyone with this. Only to see my parents at the end of the staircase, their heads peeking around the corner. It seems like they knew Olivia and I were awake, possibly from the light beneath our door. It's your bedside light. It's probably not that dark. Unless it's like the main light, in which case, why is that next to your bed? Wouldn't you have like a little click-click night light? Like on your nightstand? I approach, my father quietly whispering, "Is Olivia okay?" She's fine, just... Hungry? Joanne instantly figured before walking downstairs. She was turning down going upstairs. A lot of tautologies. They're funny. Now's not the time for that. I mean, it is a lighthearted moment. I'll get some dino nuggets ready for her. I don't know how to tell you this. What dinosaur household doesn't just have a warm plate of dino nuggets ready 24 hours a day? Your shit mother. Try again. You should have a special heater just for them. Jesus, Fang would never come here. Edward and I stood there for a few moments as my mom rustled something together, turning his snout to me as he asked, "Was she able to sleep?" Slowly, I shake my head. It's been like, what, 15 minutes? The light's been on the whole time. She hasn't slept, Dad. No, Dad. She was crying for like a minute before I cheered her up. The news seemed to hurt him. There's no implication that this took time. Oh shit, the picture that I wasn't going to show. Well, that's on me. I'm stupid. I'm stupider than a 4-year-old kid. Good on me. But it was okay. I gave Olivia some... Oh, wait. The news seemed to hurt him, eyes behind his glasses drooping. But it was okay. I gave Olivia the pencils and paper we bought. And now she and I are drawing together. And I should have just owned an air fryer with a... Listen. Arthur Imioto, boy wife man, I got some bad news for you. If you make dino nuggies, right? Listen, it's like, oh, you can put them in the oven. You can put them in a convection oven. You can put them in an air fryer. No. Some of them are going to tell you they go in the microwave. Some of them tell you they go in a deep fryer with oil, and I will have them no other way. They are so pedantic. A dinosaur will not shut up how they want their dino nuggies. This is why you date the herbivores. You never have to worry about that. Fang has a very specific temperature and time she wants her dino nuggies at. You cannot escape them. My dad pauses before nodding. That's good to hear. Joanne returns to the wrong stairs, with a full plate of dino nuggies, handing them to me. Here, give these to Olivia, dear. Again, uppercase dear. Tell her to be careful. They might still be hot. Yeah, she's fine. You're a dinosaur. I blinked, looking at my parents. You're not coming? Why does he say you both aren't coming? Isn't the you already implicitly inclusive? They both look at each other before looking back. Again! Why do so many people look at something and they... Can't they share a look? Like anything else. They share a glance. They briefly glance at each other. Before turning... My mom's speaking up. Again, another... The only male herbivore I can think of as Snootlore is Ben. We all know that Ben is the kitten boy wife in that situation. Sorry to tell you. A problem that I have with this, something someone told me is like, writing a book is not like writing stage directions, and this is, like, the amount of looking that is described is a bit stage directy. Especially if you're going to write it so close. My mom's speaking up this time. We would love for nothing more than to be there for her, but Olivia isn't ready for me and your father. You mean your father and I, to be her new guardians. She peered down. No child would ever have to be ready. Should never have to be ready for something like this. Just admit, you don't want to know if those pencils were good enough or not. I got a top. I hate cardio. Oh, that's a fucking banger of a joke. Damn it. I got a top. I hate cardio. Edward speaks up. Why did he kneel up, Safi? Why did you read that? Edward kneels up, speaking to my... I'm getting tired. Maybe you'll understand someday, Anon. When you are older. He places a claw on my shoulder. It's alright to try and encourage others to open up, but I say all these complaints, but I'm also reading Living Memories, and I'm trying to read, like, other stuff. Shut up, Safi. Why are you being this pedantic? Because I'm an asshole. People will share this video because they're inky. I'm a marketing genius. It's alright to try and encourage others to open up, but sometimes the best thing to do is to try not to force anything. We want Olivia to decide the time when she wants us to be there for her, and when she does, give her all the love and attention she needs. And Dino Nuggies. Dad. And Dino Nuggies. For some reason, those words really resonated with me. Make me think back of my old life. How many chances did I squander? How many times did I go wrong? But I was caught from those thoughts, my father continuing as he looked past my shoulder, nodding to my room before looking back at me. Jesus, again the looking. Buy a go online, there's thesaurus.com or whatever it's called. Just use it. Just any word will do. Hold on. I'm feeling asshole-ish now. 6 fucking times you use the sentence structure. Every single time. Oh, no. No, it's used somewhat differently. It's just that it's a really odd structure to use multiple times. I'm being an asshole. Stop it, Sethi. You need to stop the stream before you get too worse. Luckily, Olivia's chosen someone for that. Luckily, Olivia's chosen someone for that role in the meantime. My brain is like chosen one. I've chosen someone instead of Olivia chose someone. I looked down at the Dino Nuggies, realizing he was talking about me, is how you say that. I paused. I didn't do much. You cared. That's what. Anon! Oh my god. I'm gonna need a hot moment, okay. Anon literally just said, I kept the picture because you cared and that makes it priceless. How fucking dense is Anon that he teaches Olivia the moral and then his dad tells him the same moral? Anon, you're retarded, okay? It's fine, but we're gonna have to talk to someone about them. His claw gently squeezes my shoulder, my mother by his side. But they're your parents, that's what they do. That's how parents work, they're like joined at the hip. Their gaze is upon me, and full of proud happiness? I've never heard someone say proud happiness. It's such a weird way to describe someone's happiness. It sounds so cocky. Anon, you're the best son your mother and I could have ever hoped for. Olivia was asleep within the next hour, nesting her head with her arms over her drawing. The entire plate of Dino Nuggies cleaned out. I guess she is a carnivore, so it's probably good enough. My parents took the opportunity to enter, gently picking her up to place her on the bed, tucking her in with her blanket. Oh man, she's like 4 or 5 years old. She sleeps like a brick. They usually do. Until the night terrors come. And considering her trauma, she probably has night terrors because... I don't know if you remember, but Olivia was in the car when her parents fucking died. She's gonna have some bad dreams of those soon. Briefly stirring to get more comfy as her eyes remained closed. Clothed? No, closed. I now lay in my own bed. You lie in your own bed. You got it right a lot of times, and now you're fucking up. You lay something down, but you lie on top of something. Watching the happy gaze of my parents as they exit, turning off the lights behind them. Again, why the fuck is your ceiling light affixed next to your bed? That's a night light, so you can turn it on and not immediately wake up 100%. I guess I did good. Like, actual good. A tear rolls down my cheek, thinking back of what Edward and Joan, my real parents, were those 2 assholes in my previous life setting. It's been 5 years, Anon. Thank you for arriving with us. I peer at Olivia, the baryonic sleeping gently. Perhaps for the first time this week. Looking back at the ceiling, I made a decision. A promise. For my parents. For Olivia. For myself. I would be someone who's always be behind them, always there to help them, would always give them my fullest support. I would be their someone. Fan art credit still from... Oh, someone else made this art. I usually don't put images midway in the story, but I had to make an exception. Fair enough. I'll be honest. I am turning into an asshole. And I'm starting to worry it might impact the ability for this Fickery to make any sense. Oh, we're getting a time skip. Nice job making Anon based, like Principal Skiers. Anon, you have enemies. Shit, this guy has a ferret Snoot for a profile pic. Yeah, give me that ferret. Oh, holy shit, this is great. I think this is the first fanfic that doesn't have a male Allosaurus character being a positive to the plot, instead of cockle the refuel. And then another guy's like, what kind of fics do you read where all the Allosauruses are cuck material? That's a good fucking question. Guy's also asking, like, if they would write a scene with pre-2011 4chan. And on being a dino to love himself... These chapters are long. They are not chapters. Spears around high schooler age? I thought he was like middle age by the time the game starts, so he wouldn't be. I think the reason a lot of these are longer than they appear is because, in case you forgot, there's like a blank line under every single paragraph. Really pads out the writing. We're not even at chapter 6. Ugh. It's got to be a month to get through this. I can see why people... Oh, Jesus, chapter 6 is even longer. That scroll bar is intimidating as hell. I never thought I'd be intimidated by a fucking scroll bar. 8,000... Just break up your chapters. You don't have to post everything you wrote as one chapter. Let people page turn. Do you want to know why you break chapters up? So it's a page turn. A natural moment to stop. So your readers can take their fucking time. And so that the themes and the... I don't know, like... the Ranger in the Fog implements that idea, and it just feels better to write. I don't know. Apparently Nasser's going to show up at chapter 6. Also, there's a time skip. Grade 1 whizzed by like a montage, but there were a few highlights. Oh, they have a little group. They make a little group in chapter 5. I wonder who it'll be. Well, that's it for now. I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm an asshole, so I should probably get a cold shower and tell myself to jump off a cliff or something. That seems like the right thing to do. I'm kind of looking forward. I think by this point it's clear that while I like the core idea of what the story is trying to tell, I like other parts that the writing isn't addressing. And that's fine, you know, that's how reading works. You don't always get what you want. But I definitely have some issues with the writer's competence in sentence structures and how they treat it. They aren't working with their weakness. They're bumping into it the whole time. They keep bumping into stuff. And it's really distracting. Like, if you can't do English that well, just let it be. You know, just live it. What the hell is this? Well, that's art. Old Orangina ads. That's a furry. That's a fucking furry. France over here is like, you call this fetish bait? Furry strippers and gay human on furry couples galore. What? I can remember the video clip vividly. There was an amount of sexual tension in an Orangina ad? Straddling a giant bursting bottle of soda was a... Huh? Is that ad on YouTube? Because what the fuck? Well, that's that. The old Orangina ad. This man knows it. This thing knows about it. It's late. I'm tired. Check the Rubicon cuck ad? What? Rubicon Spring Fruity Fling. Okay, listen. I don't think you understand that I don't Oh. What the fuck? What? Oh my god, that's where that... Holy shit! What the fuck? Oh my god! No! 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 Oh, here we go. Naturally juicy. Someone has linked me that. Okay, that's just fucking furries, I guess. Oh, I remember this ad. I think I saw this one. Or I remember something... Ho! Dang! Shit! That's what I call furries. Jesus! When the furries are uncomfortable, you've gone too far! My buddy. The furries are not uncomfortable. You know, I think I've had enough for today. I just think that yeah, they got it past everyone. No one stopped them. No one stopped them. I think I'm gonna go call my mom or my dad, and because I need an adult. I might need more. I might just. I don't know, man. I think that's the perfect end to the stream. I might not have made my beloved $50, but I feel like I'm $50 richer in wisdom. Whatever the fuck that means. Jesus. I'm gonna go curse some servers with this. I'm just gonna go curse a couple of servers with that. They have a right to be cursed. Thank you for coming for the stream. Again, sorry I'm a bit critical. Maybe next time I'll be a bit better. Usually the first stream I'm very mean. This also happened with Goodbye Volcano High. Like the first stream, I was just a giant fucking asshole. And then I mellowed out a little bit. You know. No one's gonna watch the uploaded recordings at this rate, cause oh shit, I forgot to end the record. I guess the recording's gonna get the whole VOD this time. Thank you all for coming, and remember, bechamel sauce apparently goes on lasagna, even though it's French. I know they're adjacent countries, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. French cuisine cannot kiss. It can't make out with the Italian cuisine. Oh, my racial purity, my dishes. Yeah. Even though it's French. I know they're adjacent countries, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. French cuisine cannot kiss. It can't make out with the Italian cuisine. Oh, my racial purity, my dishes. Yeah.